like Miami, 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 Miami. It feels like Miami.
Welcome to the EP Podcast. I'm your host, Giancarlo, Navas. And with me today for 2023 NBA Free Agency, we have producer and co-founder, cap expert, leader of the herd right now, Brian Goins.
What's up, guys? I'm literally trying to type in so the NBA released a press release literally minutes before free agency kicked off, or at least these negotiations can kick off when deals can be announced. With the salary cap numbers for this 2023-24 season, so I'm literally trying to jam it right now into my cap sheet. I actually have it by the dollar amount, so this is actually pretty helpful.
That's very exciting. Also, we have Saucy Takes, Coach Lou, co-host pregame and Draft Beat All-Star.
Oh, thank you, man. Everybody's going to be talking about free. I'm going to just sit here and talk about the Summer League, guys, because that's what's going to be important. No, I'm fucking around.
We zig when everyone else zags. I realized everyone was doing free agency and we were doing Summer League. So, shows us. We already have a deal, by the way. Draymond Green announced that he will be returning to the Golden State Warriors on a four-year, $100 million
That killed his big three idea for Portland.
Unfortunately, shout out to Stellar Thor 33 for the tier 1 sub and chat. Respect. Also, people, thank you for supporting us during Pride. We raised over $2,000. So shout out to chat. Shout out to everybody. And we are still taking donations, ! Pride in chat to have the link. Unfortunately, we have nothing else to raffle. If you are a raffle winner and you have not contacted us yet, please send us a DM so that we can get your information. I believe we're missing MHB Princess and somebody named Tito. So DM me and make sure that we can get your prizes sent to you, and you can still donate and support. We also have the Dan Levitard auction. You can meet the shipping container. You can tour the studios and sit in an episode of Mystery Crate, have lunch with everybody. Alf will be there. Tiff will be there. I'll be there. It's a fun time we can all enjoy. So make sure to donate that now more than ever. But guys, free agency is upon us. Draymond Green is signed. We're moving. We're grooving. I imagine the first domino for the Heat to fall will be, where does Gabe Vincent end up? Brian, before we talk about anything, can you quickly explain to us what Miami has to work with to sign players in this free agency period? Because a lot of people might not really understand how limited Miami's options are.
Okay, so a quick breakdown. Let me make sure I have all my numbers set up before I even tell you guys what they have. Just double check real quick. That's good. I still have Lowry on here. Yep, I do have a dead cap hole because I was playing around with something earlier with Oladipo, messing around with taxable stuff. All right, so my cap sheet's now updated to currently what they have. So assuming that, basically they don't bring back Gabe, they don't bring back Max, or at least that's what it is right now. They haven't brought back any of them right now. You're just filling out the rest of your roster to hit 14 guys with minimums, which I think right now my count would be about 1, 2, 3, looking at 4, about 5. No, that's off. 4 minimums. Actually, I need to get Oladipo's number back in here.
This is live.
Give me 1 second. Come back to me. Come back to me in
we'll get back to Brian. Lou. Trey Lyles has signed with the Sacramento Kings. He's returned. Shout out to Fate Steel Taylor with the tier 1 gift sub, as well as Mr. Look Nice also at tier 1. Sent a bunch of fire emojis. Tay said, "Okay, but who's signing Henny G to the max? Would that be me, or would that be Harry B, who's my guy?"
Lou Bert's back with the Cavaliers.
Harrison Bert's back with the Cavs. So we're moving. Lou, what are kind of some things that you want to see? Eubanks, by the way, just signed a 2-year deal with the Phoenix Suns. That's a guy that I would have really liked in Miami.
Yes.
I think back up big.
Bringing back Buck Landale. They rescinded his qualifying offer, so he's not a restricted free agent anymore. His qualifying offer is only $200,000 more than a vet minimum. So I actually tweeted right before free agency kicked off, but that might be a guy that Miami might look at for backup center, especially if they're not bringing back Yurt and potentially Cody Zeller.
Yeah. Jock Londale, like you stated, I think he'll be a decent backup big.
I like how we're starting the show with Jock Londale.
With Jock Londale, right? No, it's cool, man. Because he, I mean, me and Franky spent some time the other day going over the list, and it was bad, man. The backup bigs are really bad guys. So, like when Tristan Thompson is a top 5 option to be a backup next to behind Bam Adebayo, that is, it's not where you want to be. So, you know, guys like Eubanks and Londale who provide just a little bit more upside. And you know, just a little younger is maybe something that the Heat could look into. I'm just really curious to see specifically where Max goes, because he might fetch something back in a sign-in trade, according to reporting earlier today. I really don't expect this to be very active. Maybe I say that and we get a Woj bomb. Hopefully that's the case. But I'm very curious to see where some of these players go. I kind of want to see how the East shapes out. There's a lot of, you know, the West is very talented, but you know, we clearly have some teams. I want to see what happens in Philly with James Harden, around Damian Lillard too. Supposedly, Maxey might be included in a trade, but they feel like they don't have the pieces. There's this guy going around Twitter, man. I don't know who this guy is. This guy got sources everywhere. He got no profile picture.
What's his name?
His name is
Dropping Dimes.
Dropping Dimes.
Lead us.
But he has like different accounts. Every time he gets shut down, he opens up a new one with a different number at the end. It's like Dropping Down's 20. I think he's up to like 90 right now. Anyway, so G, I got your I have the cap sheet like totally
real
updated
quick before
correctly.
you say that. Kyle Kuzma just signed a 4-year, $102 million deal to the Wizards. Apparently, Eubanks just went for the minimum, which is absolutely. That's actually, if you want to joke about Pat Riley who has to wake up, that's one. Eubanks as a backup, he was their own free agent.
He was one of their own free. I think he didn't have restricted, but I mean that's what happens when you have your own free agent. Sometimes guys like that, especially trying to come back on a contender, you know, they're trying to fill up that roster of veterans because they're so stacked heavy at the top of those 3 really big max contracts in Phoenix. So yeah, I mean Eubanks would have been good, but like they've probably been trying to get him to sign at the vet minimum for weeks, and Miami wouldn't have been able to like talk to him until today. So I really do think for Miami, some of these vet min guys that are going off the table right now have already been like signed for a while. The guys that you're probably looking at to sign as vet min, you might not sign today. They might be, you know, signings later in free agency once the market has kind of dried up in terms of the amount of money that's out there. So let me get to what Miami has to spend. So if Miami basically fills up the rest of the roster of vet minutes, as I was talking about earlier, they keep Oladipo, who already opted into his player contract at $9.45 million for this season. I'm not assuming Kevin Love is back just yet, but I'm keeping it basically at a vet minimum, replacing him. There is like $1 million, $1.7 million difference between a vet min and Kevin Love's non-right deal. So I just kept the vet min for right now on my cap sheet. We're looking at, and this is all the new numbers also that the NBA just provided. Miami is $48.695 million over the luxury cap, not the luxury cap, the salary cap. Over luxury tax, they are $19.4 million. Over the first apron or the regular hard cap, they're $14.8 million over. And over the second apron, they're now $1.9 million over. Before this, it was like 2.1. So they basically got an extra $200,000 in buffer since the NBA just released their new numbers, or official numbers now. So it's not going to be updated anymore. So with that said, Miami does not have any mid-level exceptions available to spend. They already used their biannual last year. They wouldn't be able to use that either if they had it available. So it's good that they spent it last season. They had no mid-level right now. If they were able to get under the second apron, which are over by about $2 million right now, then they would potentially have $5 million that they could use, but they would have to clear somewhere between $7 to $9 million in order to open that up. So right now they don't have it available, but doesn't mean they can't get it available. It's just they have to clear some salary in order to get it to come up, basically be open for them. The guy on the roster that potentially could be a guy that if they could somehow dump him for next to nothing would be Oladipo. They could waive and stretch him. It would save them about $6 million. It's maybe they can open up about $4 million in a mid-level exception if they wanted to spend it. I just don't think Miami would do that because it's not that much different than if you're using the vet minimum, which is about 3.2 million. I think it went up now again because the salary cap just went up all the way to 10%. But yeah, the difference between a mid-level exception for a taxpayer team, which Miami is this season, $5 million compared to a vet minimum that a 10-year plus vet would be able to earn this year. So a guy like, say, Kevin Love or a guy like Russell Westbrook, they can get $3 million or just over $3 million actually now. So you're talking about a difference of like maybe $2 million. It's not that much. So I don't know. Is it really worth Miami having to go out and clear like $7 million off their books or whatever it is that they might have to just to open up $5 million in an exception? Personally, I don't think so.
So realistically, they don't have any exception and they can only re-sign their guys at minimums.
Yeah. And then the guys that they have as free agents that they can bring back, obviously Gabe and Max are the two biggest ones. They do also have Europe, but they don't have his restricted rights anymore because they didn't offer him a qualifying offer that they had to do by yesterday. But for Gabe and Max, they do have their bird rights, but they are unrestricted free agents, meaning they can sign off contracts with any teams. And if they sign for a mid-level for another team right now, Miami doesn't have the chance to basically like match. So they're hoping that if they want to get them, they're able to get them at their price. But it seems like both of them are going to be going for at least a mid-level, is what it sounds like from these reports that we've been reading over the last few days. The two teams that are really heavily going after Max Strus seem to be Indiana and Cleveland. So those are two teams, but there's other teams out there. I think I saw reports that the Magic were also interested. Detroit was out there. I don't know if they have enough cap space now because he just made that trade for Joe Harris. Plus, he now fills that shooting need that they needed anyway. So I would take them off the table for Max Strus' services. And then for Gabe, it seems like the Raptors, depending on what happens with Fred VanVleet and free agency, might be the team that Gabe might potentially be landing at, depending if they have that point guard position open, because obviously they would need to fill that starting spot.
Weren't the Lakers also interested?
For who, Gabe?
Yeah.
Their priority is going to be Bruce Brown right now, is what I read. And then their second priority potentially might be Brook Lopez.
Well, I imagine their first priority is keeping the little
Reeves.
white boy.
Well, I meant priority in terms of what they would use their mid-level to spend on.
Yeah. By the way, I want to welcome in Franky G. What's up, Franky?
What's going on, guys? 2020 free agency.
Cannot hear you. Believe your mic's off. Okay,
He's whispering. He's like talking regular.
We'll get back. Franky's having a little technical difficulties right now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tough for Miami to make a move. Other than rekeep their guys. So Brian was
we talk about make a move, let's put this out there. It's signing a free agent basically for more than the vet minimum. They don't have exceptions. They don't have cap space first and foremost. And the exceptions that they normally would have gotten in previous CBAs with this second apron, which Miami is now over just barely, by just under $2 million. They're over right now. They don't have a mid-level exception that they can use to spend. But either way, this mid-level sucks. It's $5 million. They cut this mid-level down from what it used to be in previous CBAs. This would have normally been like a $7.5-8 million mid-level exception. Right now it's 5. It's going to stay at 5 until the cap increases these next few years. But starting at 5 for this first year in this new CBA. And I'm looking at the mid-level exceptions on the other ones. The other two, the non-taxpayer is the one that people often refer to as the full mid-level. That's currently now at $12.405 million. So if you're looking at guys like Gabe and Max, as we were saying, potentially could field these kind of offers from other teams, Miami can give them that same deal. The issue with them really is more about the tax bill, more than anything else. So right now, with the new numbers that just got updated, Miami's tax bill is actually about $43 million at the moment. That's if they don't obviously bring back Gabe and Max at anything more than the vet minimum. If I change their contracts to let's say they bring them back at exactly the amount of this new mid-level exception, so at $12.405, you bring back one of them at that kind of contract, your tax bill now jumps up to 84 million. So that's the difference between bringing back Gabe or Max at the mid-level versus just signing another vet min.
Do you have any questions, Lou? Did you have a question for
No, basically what he like. So essentially, just to clarify, kind of basically paying Gabe just a standard mid-level means also taking on an extra 25-ish mil in tax.
Yeah, basically you're doubling your tax bill because it was at 43.
this is like
I
Mike
dumped it
Miller.
in.
This is
It,
like
it
Jesus,
went
man.
up to 84. So yeah, it practically doubled.
Also, what's up, Franky?
Can you hear me now,
What?
guys?
No.
God.
Wait, no, but put your mic closer to your mouth.
Hello. It's right here.
Go get as close as you can.
I'm like this.
Yes, now we can hear you.
That sounds crispy, bro.
That sounds amazing.
I don't want to be. God damn it.
And then put your gain a little higher. What's up, Tiff?
Hey guys,
What
How
is
we
up?
doing?
What is up?
what's going on?
So we're here. Brian just explained that the Heat have no money. So you missed the fun
They
part.
sound like me. They
Brian
sound
had
like
a
me.
5-paragraph essay on why they can't even shop at Walmart. So
Hey.
Straight Dollar General.
So they
Chad
definitely
said-
can't go to Target.
they can't go to no Target's too nice. Chad says I want Frankie to deep throat his mic.
I don't even know if they can afford dollar. That's basically what they can afford is Dollar General right now, which is all the vet minutes that they can buy.
All these years of
You sound great,
praising-
Frankie.
all these years of praising Zoran Dragic, and Beno Udrich for fucking taking less
Beno.
money to save Mickey fucking money, and they don't want to spend tax when they have a great fucking team and
Beno.
They
great.
are spending tax. They don't want to spend $80 million or an extra $40 million in tax just to
Brian.
bring back Gabe Vincent.
Brian, they gonna need fucking starters. It's not even like rotation guys, and they're bargain bin hunting because they won't spend money. I don't understand, man.
Jack,
Like I said, it's the difference between spending $80 million in a tax bill versus 43 right now if you want to bring back either Gabe or Max at the full mid level, which isn't even probably like right now with Max, he's getting offers for 16 million, which if you go that high, it's over the mid level. You're talking about even more of a tax bill than I mean, let's put that in right now. Let's put that in. What if when Miami's decided, hey, you know what, fuck it. Let's give Gabe back at his $16 million offer that apparently he's fielding from these other teams like the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers. $101 million in a tax bill. Are we seriously talking about bringing back Max at $16 million so that Mickey can spend $101 million on this team?
Well,
You have to be serious, guys. Like, even other owners wouldn't pay that kind of luxury tax bill. So it's not just Mickey. I think it's the reality of what they have in terms of these really top salaries on this roster. They have to find something that they can do with Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and Victor Oladipo before they can really make decisions on guys like Gabe and Max. Sure, they can give them these contracts now, but then that really pushes the incentive for Miami to make a trade to salary dump them. And if other teams know that they need to basically dump this amount of salary just to get under $101 million tax bill, then you're talking about them probably attaching picks that you want to basically keep to make improvements on a roster like you guys want. Not trying to bring back guys that you already had, in last year's playoff run. You want to try to get new pieces.
Bruce Brown to the Pacers, 2 for 45 via Woj and Malika Andrews.
So you got more than mid-level.
I don't understand guys going from championship teams to
That takes them out of the Max Strus running, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So it's basically Strus.
I've already spoken to Justin today. I'm getting familiar with Cavs media. I
There you
am
go.
trying to figure things out.
Are you starting Casby? Is that what's going on?
I'm just saying, it's word on the street.
Wait till Woj tweets it out. Don't speak to
Pacers have
locked in.
Halliburton, Bruce Brown.
Bro,
backcourt.
Bruce Brown's
I'm
signing at $22.5 million.
I'm
Is that
starting
what?
Pacers beat.
that's an over and that's a kind of contract that that's a bad deal for Bruce Brown. That's a
What do
lot
you
of
mean?
money.
That's not a bad deal for Bruce Brown. That's
That's
a
more
great deal
than-
for him.
that's-
It's a bad deal for the Pacers.
Well,
I don't
it's
think so. You
well, I
gotta
guess
get you gotta
the
hit
2
the
years.
salary floor.
No, the 2 years.
That's not
the
bad
2 years
at all.
not bad. Yeah, actually, the 2 years because I was gonna say annually it's more than Duncan because Duncan was
No,
not,
it's 2 years.
Yeah,
the
the
guys,
2 years.
it doesn't matter. They
It's
have the
still
money to
bad
pay
deal.
him.
Right.
They paid a
And-
premium for him. They needed him. They're a good team. I
Right.
don't see a problem with it. Honestly, it's just unfortunate. Looking at our situation, we just see a name fly off the board. But this kind of this is kind of what you're. I mean, and regardless, whatever names fly off the board, this doesn't impact anything that's going to happen with Lillard unless it says Portland Trailblazers, yada yada yada, or Miami Heat have traded yada yada. Because these are. This is not going to affect anything that's going to go down the road. Is my thinking.
The other thing about this Bruce Brown deal to the Pacers, which means that the only reason Cleveland needed a sign and trade for Max was because Indiana had more cap space to absorb him. So now
guess what?
The market's a little drier, and Cleveland might, because now there's not a lot of room teams left, so Cleveland might not even have to do a sign and trade. They can just sign him for their mid-level exception, which I believe Brian is at $12.5 million. Well, I mean the new cap numbers might have that a little higher.
It's 12.4 and change.
Yeah, so it's around there. So they may not need to do that anymore. Which I know that we talked.
Well,
a little
the
bit
Magic
about,
are still out there. They have
the
cap
Magic
space.
have cap space.
Yeah.
Can more than 12.5?
I'm gonna take a look real quick.
So that's one thing. But while you look at that, the other thing was that Miami needed a third team because when I was talking to people, it looked like it was going to be Cedi Osman plus Ricky Rubio or Dean Wade. What you got, Frank?
We got a new signing.
Jeremy Grant, 5-year, $160 million to go back to Portland.
That's interesting.
That
was expected.
That's like insane contract. $32 million average annual salary.
That's
a
5 years. That's weird. That's a weird.
5 years, 116 or 160. Sorry,
160.
Oh, Evan Massey just reported Max Strus to the Cavs, 4 years, $64 million.
Wait, where?
Who's Evan Massey?
I don't see that.
No, that's Evan Massey. I mean,
I don't believe that.
Do we trust Evan Massey?
Yeah, I need more people. I don't believe him.
Evan Massey is like.
Man, this is.
I need more people.
When your bio says featured on Forbes, ESPN, Yahoo, Fox Sports, SI, and Bleacher Report Insider, that means you're not credible.
Shit, me too.
I need more people.
You shouldn't have to put all that in there in your bio.
Exactly.
Dropping Dime came out of nowhere. It was breaking news. I wouldn't be surprised. If
also, 4 for 64 would be $16 million. The Cavs don't have that space. They don't even have that in the mid-level to offer him. So.
Sign and trade.
Those numbers ain't mathing.
Okay, but Brian, I don't understand the 5-year 160.
Like the 5 years?
That's like Jeremy Grant.
That's because they have bird rights. So they're going to offer 5 years.
Tiff, I think you're asking why would anyone do that?
Right?
Why? Because it's the
guy who's 29.
They can't get free agents to come there. They obviously traded for him, and they had his cap pulled in, and they had bird rights, and they were able to sign over their cap space in order to bring him back. So why not? It's an asset that they could eventually trade, maybe.
Jeremy Grant is older, I believe, than when Miami gave Jimmy the first deal. Put it that way.
Maybe, yeah. I don't.
Jimmy's Jeremy Grant's 29.
So. I think you're right.
Yeah, Jeremy Grant's 29. So at the end of that deal, he's going to be 34 years old. That's a mighty.
That's
big,
a massive overpay. They scaled that at 8%. Let me actually see what that number might look like.
That's a good deal for him, but
and that's what happens when you're trying to get Dame to stay. You got to do shit like that. You feel me? Like they're trying their life out.
So
this 164 million. How many?
160. So while Brian does the math there, to me, people like El Spicy Boy in chat says that's enough for Dame to stay. LOL. I don't know if that's sarcasm or not, but like
they had him last year. They didn't even make it to the plan.
To me, that signals one of two things. One, it's like the Miami Heat's 2014 free agency where they were just trying to do whatever they could and try to see if that made LeBron happy without having real communication for him. Or Lillard been like, hey, if you keep this guy and bring me someone else, then I'll stay.
I'll consider.
Yeah,
I'll consider. So that could read one of two ways. I don't think there's a lot of utility in trying to figure that out, but certainly that it doesn't. It certainly if Jeremy Grant left somewhere else, that would certainly spell difficulties for them improving.
Yeah.
The only thing is, it seemed like Portland outbid themselves because there was nobody that was offering that much that had cap space. So, I mean, good for them, but they probably could have offered him a lot less.
I think they were in a position where they had to make him feel like, hey, you're our first choice. We need you to stay.
Yep.
That's probably true too.
Even if he leaves for less money, if they don't want to pay him, then they're losing Dame for sure.
Yeah. So his starting salary this year, I'm assuming they're doing 8% increments, which is like basically what always happens in these kind of deals. His first year is going to be at $27.5 million. His very last year on his deal, that 5th year, which we'll find out if it has any team options, player options, guarantees, whatever, it's at 36.4. So
Interesting. Mo Samba in chat asked, do we believe that Evan Massey saying Cavs signed Strus for 464?
I don't believe it. Till
Brian
I see
said that math ain't mathin'. So until I see a real real, I don't want to call it Massey. Do we want to call Evan Massey? Who cares? When I see a real NBA media person, then I'll believe it.
Baseball trade. Let's go, Marlins. No, I'm kidding. I don't know who got
It's the Rangers.
No, we don't care.
Porzingis did get an extension from the Celtics, 2 for $60.
Good for him.
So
I'm sure.
What was the max deal again? What was the max deal?
It was.
Sorry, I'm not looking at 4
for 64, Brian.
64. I'm just want to see what that starting.
I gotta be honest. I'm just not into the idea of giving role players 4 years, unless they're like an Iguodala kind of role player. Like even if it's my favorite role player, I just don't think that there's a lot of that typically doesn't go well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I agree.
I just think it's bad. I think 3 years is the most I'd give a role player. And I understand why the role players want the security of a 4-year deal, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen, but especially with shooters. So
starting salary about 14.8. We were saying that the mid-level is at 13.4. Or no, 12.4.
Yeah.
So they don't have the cap space. So that would signal a signing trade if that was the amount.
Yeah. So if that is the amount,
which is good for us, correct? Or in theory, it could be.
Well, that's the only way they could get him. So yes, that'd be good for us. Now, but obviously, this is one. We're not even saying he's credible yet, but I mean, if that's the signing, then yeah, that would lead me to believe that Miami.
Somebody's saying they announced it on the radio.
Bro, the radio.
Yeah, exactly. Tobin retweeted it, so I'm sure he probably announced it there.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll see.
Wait.
Yeah. So the sign and trade with Miami and Cleveland's interesting because, so as I was saying before, I was told that if it would involve Cedi Osman plus one of Dean Wade or Ricky Rubio, but Miami cannot do that because of the BYU rule, Brian?
Space year compensation. It's so complicated to explain this.
So they can. So we don't have to explain it.
I'll just say it this way:
they can't do it. They need a third team.
They would need a third team, correct? I projected that the most that. I'm not even going to say this on here because I feel like I need to go through numbers one more time. But let's just put it this way. Whatever Max ends up getting in a deal with the Cleveland Cavaliers because they don't have cap space, have it for whatever Miami's sending out in terms of salary. So say he gets $16 million right now, half $16 million, that's what, $8 million going out from Miami, incoming for Cleveland 16. You're going to have to basically work a way to get that $8 million sort of trade match in a way. There is a $7.5 million buffer. You could potentially have the Cavaliers send an additional $500,000 in salary. There is a way for them to actually do this trade if it's like at $16 million, but we said it was 64, but if it's starting salary at 14.8, there is a way to do it. Yeah, no, there's a way to do it. With base year compensation because half of 14.8, 7.4. I'll get back to you in the numbers, but that is possible in a sign and trade for sure.
Small news, 2 small news. Reggie Jackson back to Denver and Bruce Brown's second year as a team option.
Barry Jackson just tweeted.
He bet on himself, essentially.
Barry Jackson tweets the Heat have been canvassing the part-time starter free agent point guard market. That's a mouthful. We all kind of groan. Tiff's face says a million words.
I literally am just like, first, like, you know what that means? That means Gabe is gone.
That means they need a plan B.
Part-time starter free agent point guard market.
Yes,
that's a part-time starter free agent right now.
We had one. We had one. Like, what are we doing?
Maybe?
Is he a point guard?
He's a guard.
I like Seth Curry, but I don't want him dribbling for my life if I had to pick somebody.
He ain't picking up 48 feet.
Nope, not at all.
He's not even picking up in half court. So
he dying on every screen that come his way. He's like we doing this
right into the backcourt.
exactly. We
Russell
doing
Westbrook.
this?
Honestly, I'd
Oh.
be down. I'd be down.
I'm not even gonna lie. At this point, if I gotta say goodbye to people, I'll take Russ. Like I don't. What are we doing? I'll take Russ.
Absolutely.
I'll take Russ.
Chat saying bring Dragic back. That guy can't play anymore.
He
guys.
can't play.
No, it's gotta come from vibes.
The Heat aren't in a position.
Stop with the vibes, dude.
Right,
You know
right.
what, Frankie? Because everyone got mad at Udonis Haslam being on the team, and all
Exactly.
of those same
And now y'all want Gorin taking
Goran
up another
Dragic
spot.
for vibe? What?
No,
Which
no,
one
we're
is
not
it?
doing that.
Look,
We're not doing
He
that.
can't play. He
No,
can't play.
Dragic
can't.
is my favorite player in the NBA still to this day.
That's why they traded
Leave him
him
over
because
there.
he can't
Leave him over
play. Like, come on.
Leave him. Let him be happy, man. We let him be happy wherever he wants to be. Not in Miami. This is the first chance without UD on the roster. You know, no shade to UD. Thank you for everything he did. But we have one more roster spot to actually use and develop a player. Why are we going to be wasting that on a guy who's not going to play?
But I also want to say, like, yes, Russ has a lot of flaws, but Russ can play next to Jimmy and Bam. Like, if
Nathan
need
nailed
be. Exactly.
You're telling me Cody Zeller's better than Goran? Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here.
Look.
Cody Zeller's not better than Goran.
I'm letting y'all know Cody Zeller is going to be a Miami Heat next year, bro. You heard it here first.
Oh,
Bro.
100%,
do with that.
100%, bro.
Do with
If
that
that's
as you
his
will.
free agent signing, I think. I would quit Heat Beat again.
Barry Jackson said, although the initial Heat offer on Gabe, quote, wasn't acceptable to him, he will remain option until he commits somewhere. Obviously, Barry's tweeting. So
I love
fast,
you,
he has
Gabe.
typos
Yeah,
like
if
me.
you're hearing this, please.
According to according to
That
Ethan, that
means-
initial offer was $8 million.
So Gabe suitors would be like the Lakers, the Clippers, the Raptors, and that's kind of what I've heard him linked to.
You said that was the other team. You
Philly.
said Clippers.
They said Philly, maybe.
Both
Clippers
LA
don't
teams.
Clippers don't have mid-level. I don't think.
They don't have the
Let me
mid level.
No, because they're over second
I
apron.
feel like the Clippers have
the-
nothing. Like, how are they
but the-
getting people?
Because they have so many contracts, they could just sign and trade away like Powell and Morris and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, they're looking at trade offers. They're not looking at free agents.
I feel
look
like
at
so
contract
much of
now.
the league is capped out except for the bad
They
teams.
can't. I don't think the Clippers can sign and trade any either.
No.
Oh, because they're
over
beyond
the
this the
They're
apron.
up, but
They're
that rule
definitely above the first apron. I think they're still above the second apron. Let me look at their cap sheet real quick.
The Lakers were looking. I think the Lakers
Which-
were an option potentially, but they're. Somebody just said. I think it was Jake Fisher that they're talking to Eric Gordon.
I
Of
saw
course
that.
they are. Of
Okay.
course
For
they
listeners,
are.
Have you
for
seen the
listeners-
fringe starter market for point guards? I'm sorry. No, now that
Oh, God, it's so bad.
Yeah, go ahead. What's the fringe starter market looking like? Who are
okay,
Miami?
so Javon Carter, which I'm
I
actually cool
actually
with.
like him.
I like
He's-
him.
he's
I
gonna
like
make more
him.
than-
But this is
Not as
you
a
know, in
starter.
theory.
Well, I mean,
No, no,
Kyle,
no,
Kyle
no.
can start, but
Look, man.
Kyle can't start. We saw
G,
that.
G, if you got upset at that name,
Javon Carter,
that was the
hold on.
best name, G. What are we doing?
Javon Carter's already off the board. 3
Oh,
years,
Javon
20
Carter to the
million in
Bulls.
Chicago.
Oh yeah, wow.
It's
all
over.
right.
I told you
There
he wasn't
you go.
taking the minimum.
Let me shut up, man, because I'm gonna say somebody
People
I like,
are
and they're gonna get picked up.
listen.
You're gonna
A lot of
Buff
people
getting it.
are not
Corey
trying to take
Joseph.
the minimum.
$6.6 million. Like that's above what Miami was going to offer, or that's below what Miami was offering Gabe. So, I don't know.
But Gabe is better than him, in my opinion. So
Yeah, but is he twice better than him? Because that's what Gabe's looking at.
I would say so, or at
Wait,
least
who?
1.75.
Wait,
Gabe
you
better
say
than
Javon
Carter.
You say Javon Carter is better than Gabe?
I'm
No, no,
saying
no,
is Javon Carter twice as good as Gabe because he just got 6.6 million.
No,
Gabe's looking
he's
for
not-
that mid-level, full mid-level.
He's not twice as good as Gabe.
That's a good.
No, is
we're saying
Gabe twice as good as-
twice as
as
good as
Carter?
Javon Carter?
Oh,
Yeah.
Because Javon got 6.6, and then the
I
full
would say-
Gabe's looking
level
for
would be
Gabe's
12.
looking for 12.4.
Yeah.
listen, I'm sorry. Like, Gabe should get his what is he looking for? 12.4? Yes.
He's looking for the full mid level.
He should get that.
Listen, he's proven, he's played in big games. Like, he's been in all these situations that where all the Heat fans are saying send these folks to South Africa. Like, you don't know what you're getting back while you're shipping everybody off. Like, like yes, I want them to leave and get the bag. That is 100%. I would never tell somebody take less than what other people are offering because it's stupid. But at the same time, let's stop acting like we're gonna wake up on Tuesday and Spo gonna go to the grocery store and find these guys in aisle 5. It's not happening. They had to develop. All the new people have to develop. Like we have to stop talking about them like they're a dime a dozen because they're not.
I thought it was interesting, and I forgot who said this, but like, Miami doesn't have a lot of guys in the pipeline right now,
right?
Because Max was a guy that we saw, before he became like an actual rotation player. He got a couple spot minutes, and you're like, I kind of see it. And same with Gabe, same with Duncan. Right, like all these guys had like their moments, and that's not really like. I know that Franky, you're a big like Buyang. What's his name?
Jamari Buyang.
Yeah, you like him, and we like Orlando, and those may be two guys that might be able to contribute, and Jamal Cain, but they don't have like a point guard, a guard who can handle. That I think we're confident about in their pipeline. Maybe some of those guys are a year or two away. They have guys in the pipeline, but not guys that you feel as confident about as you did. I think Max in particular.
Well, not a guy you want to start, which is basically what Miami would need.
For sure. Yeah, of course. But I mean, so if you're the Heat, again, you need a guard. You don't need a starting guard. You need a guard, right? Because you could start Kyle and Tyler, and you'll live, right? Like maybe you'd rather have Gabe as a starter, but it's not like Kyle Lowry's not a starting quality point guard.
As long as he's on the roster for now, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
If they don't make the Damian Lillard trade, then yeah.
Well, we saw the issue last year was that if you're going to start Kyle and Tyler together, you need a real quality 4. It can't be Caleb, and that's not on the roster either.
Well, I mean, let's not forget that they're closing minutes. And Kyle was playing a lot of these.
Chat.
I guess what I'm saying is that like any guard that they get is probably not coming here to start. I'd be surprised if they start. Like if they were to get Javon Carter, if they were to have gotten him, for example, I don't think he would have started. For example, I think he would have just come off the bench. So I just think they're kind of look for like, hey, who can ball handle? Maybe hopefully for the 4th year in a row at the deadline, we get another acquisition by Victor Oladipo rejoining the team. And I'm trying to rationalize it as the organization will.
No, yeah, for sure. And I think. Nobody's going to want to hear this, but I think that's why their summer league this year is a lot more like ready-made players because I think they realize like they need to replenish that pipeline like you were talking about.
Yeah.
Like they need people in there that they can
like a baseball team.
Like a farm system.
They kind of like more than any other team, they run their for sure. And they have like the guys that they like that come in and out and they pick and then they keep or whatever.
Yeah. And really with Miami, they actually don't like the guys that you see in summer league aren't always the guys that they sign for two-way guys. Like guys like Gabe Vincent, guys like Max Strus, they poach from other teams. So even was it recently? Gertson was another one. Caleb was definitely the most recent one. Kendrick won. Yeah, so a lot of the guys that they normally sign for two-ways, you might not even see at Summer League playing for the Heat or even for the Skyforce. They might be on other teams that they just poach later on.
Very true.
They tried with Darius Days last year as well. So absolutely.
I wonder how. So we've seen situations where the longer a player doesn't get signed, the more the market dries. Gabe, obviously no traction on him today, but of course the big domino there is Fred VanVleet. And I think that's kind of the one he's waiting for.
What people are. Yep.
So when that one goes, and then obviously the Max thing, if that is a sign and trade, now that's more complicated, and that might get announced later. If that does happen, I think if he was going to go to Cleveland for the mid level, that might have happened already. But again, that they might be between bids for him, and he might want to go to a winning situation, as well. Like Cleveland's a good team, and they were a home seed last year, and I think that he would play a lot as well and all that. So, while the Suns are cleaning up free agency, I still can't believe they got Eubanks for the minimum.
They've signed so many bigs.
They've
signed so many bigs.
They're so ready to get rid of Ayton.
Well, I wanted to put that out there real quick. There was a report that apparently they were interested in signing Kevin Love to a vet minimum.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now with this is something that Leif kind of just mentioned recently, that with the amount of bigs that they've signed, it doesn't seem like Kevin Love's probably on the table for them.
Yeah, Metu, Eubanks.
I'm not very whatever if Kevin Love comes back to Miami.
I'm right there with you.
I like him, but like I'm not like crying if he leaves.
Well, that's three starters you gotta replace, G. That's how I think about
Right.
it.
That's a big. It is a big deal.
Did you think he was gonna start like the
Yeah.
grind of the regular season?
No,
I mean, you still need him regardless.
No, but it's a guy that's Spo trusted.
I think
Yeah.
for sure
It's not
Caleb's
Coach Taylor.
gonna start. I think day one of the season, Caleb
At
probably
what?
starts with Bam. They're probably gonna run. Nobody. This is the thing nobody wants to hear. They're going to probably have the same starting lineup that they had last opening night.
A year older and
Yeah, just a year older and more. Yeah, it's just.
and a thinner bench.
Jimmy and Tyler coming off injuries. Kyle closer to AARP. Like that's awful.
And if
It's
and
back.
if you have any injuries on that team, whoo-hoo.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's,
you're counting on Jamari Bouye.
right?
okay.
Which we don't want to do.
what do you got? Brian?
I wanted to bring up because I was looking up the cap sheet for the Clippers. They don't have a mid-level available. They're actually still $574,000 over the second apron. That's even after they waived Eric Gordon recently in his $20 million salary. So, and they still need to fill one more roster spot. So yeah, they don't have enough to offer Gabe if they wanted to bring him in a mid-level. All he has is a vet min. So
Sean
I'll put that out
Heiken,
there.
Sean Heiken, who has done a great job of covering the Blazers, also really hates aggregation. Tweeted out about the Jeremy Grant signing. I had it pegged at 5 for 150, right in line. Had been reporting since January that this was going to get done quickly. Second tweet. For what it's worth, re-signing Grant was always part of the plan under the assumption that Damian Lillard was going to stay put. Wouldn't make much sense to pay him this much money if you're going to go young and rebuild. Dame said at exit interviews he quote expected end quote Grant to be back. So
Here's where I counterpoint to this. They have to spend their cap space on somebody. And they already had a guy in line that they could easily re-sign. They don't normally get free agents. It made sense for them to bring back Jeremy Grant, whether or not Damian Lillard was staying or not.
Yep.
That's
So,
true.
That's my
I was
point.
going to
this
argue
is-
about the years, but he had leverage because
Right.
of the Dame.
Well,
thing.
the new CBA is forcing teams
You
to spend
have
at least
to
90%.
Right. You have to spend the money. Right. You can't go into
Yeah.
next season like
Now,
it's
they
not
didn't have-
rolling over like cell phone minutes.
They could have had some cap space if they didn't bring back Jeremy Grant, but it was only like $15 to $18 million, which is the same as a mid-level. They actually do have a mid-level that they might be able to spend. Actually, maybe not, because this
We
deal's
got a
actually
report
more than
here from Woj. George Niang to the Cavs, 3 years, $26 million. So
that means they used their mid-level on him.
They said that they wanted both of them, though. They said that they wanted
did?
So
him.
that
and
actually does mean that Max will be a sign and trade at this point.
Or they use a portion of their mid-level, which is 8.6.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
326.
starting 26 over 3 would be starting salary. Let
Tiff,
me
before
see.
you go, I want to clarify some stuff on Cleveland because Bobby Marks had talked about it a bit. Cleveland had quite a bit to work with, coming into this. So that doesn't mean that they're out of the max true. So Bobby
Right.
Marks tweeted, Cleveland still has the flex. This is prior to the Niang signing.
Mhm.
Cleveland still has the flexibility to use a $12.4 million non-taxpayer mid-level, and they're 22 below the luxury tax. So I think that 22 below the luxury tax is important, and 29 million below the first apron. So that's after the re-signing of Karis LeVert. So
22, you said?
yeah,
Minus, so I was looking up, so $26 million is what Yang got 26 million is that what he's signed for?
yeah.
So
26.
over 3 years, they don't have his bird rights. So it's 5% increment salary. His starting salary is 8.2. That is definitely obviously over the mid level, or it's in that mid level range. So they use a portion of their full mid level to sign him, meaning they have like 12.4 minus 8.2 remaining. Let me just do this number off the top.
So
of
they
my
have like
head.
14. They're 14 below the tax. Which
Yeah, that's
could be
also what I was
which
wanna
could
do.
be a max number. That could be
Yeah.
that
the
could be
starting
a max
salary
number.
for Max.
Yeah.
So that leaves them basically, if they want to get max, it has to be a sign and trade. It
Yeah.
can't be with the mid level. So
And who else has cap space? Because we keep saying this, but Like we.
Oh,
still
Oh yeah,
don't
I was
even
looking
know
that up too. There's so many
he-
things I'm looking up right now.
Right.
Orlando, San
Right.
Antonio.
Right, because I'm
Yeah.
saying like we don't even
Houston.
know. Like we hear the grumblings, but like he might also
Houston.
be looking.
So here's the
elsewhere.
teams that have cap space still. It's Houston, San Antonio, Orlando. Orlando only has 1 million. Wait, what did they do recently? I thought they had more. I'll have to look up their cap sheet real quick. Apparently Indiana still has 16.9, but I don't know if that's updated recently with this latest. Didn't they
I
sign
don't-
somebody?
Yeah, they signed someone today.
Who
Bruce
was it that
Brown.
they should sign? Bruce
Bruce
Brown.
Brown,
Yeah, so I don't
yeah.
think that's updated.
Kyrie.
Kyrie back to the Mavs. 3 years, 126 player option for the third season.
So basically a 2-year deal.
So let me take a quick
Interesting.
look.
Old Max Prosper. He's got a point guard now.
Interesting. Okay, so
Jesus.
Bruce Brown's gonna be the most expensive player on the Pacers for next season, by the way.
He
Yep.
should be.
He should be. Their CAC book is looking like
hold on real quick. That guy, the amateur NBA analyst at Dropping Dimes 02, the guy that Lou referred to earlier, Henry Abbott has just retweeted him saying 76ers trying to get Lillard, offering what they're getting from the Harden trade plus Maxey, which could look
That was a
something.
He tweeted that a while ago.
See that
Yeah.
5 minutes ago.
Oh, the real Dropping Dimes is crashed again.
So this is a
But
new
he-
one.
he-
Okay,
he
Your
tweet- he
Majesty, Mr. President, there's been a second Dropping Dimes.
There's one every 10 minutes. He got the Bruce Brown thing right too.
One of
He
the
did.
one of the things. So I imagine a deal with the Clippers could be like the Clippers get Harden, Portland gets Maxey and Tobias Harris is giant expiring, Marcus Morris and picks. The Sixers get all the bad contracts: Dame 4 years, Norman Powell 3 years, and 2 fillers from Portland. That's something that it could look like, if
Yeah.
because there is some talk about the Sixers like kind of poaching Dame out. I think it genuinely comes to like Lillard has to want to be here and express that. I think the Blazers need to have some sort of appetite for Hero. I think Tyrese Maxey is probably a bit more digestible for them because of the money figure as well, and they have a lot of guards that they like already. And I think that having a guy like Maxey is probably easier to move than Hero.
For sure.
Yeah.
So it kinda
Pacers
makes
still
Or
have
they-
15
or-
million in
Or
cap
they might
space.
want to keep Maxey and move one of theirs. They've got
Diamonds,
they've got all these guards just hanging around.
Brian, who are the Fred VanVleet suitors?
It's Houston.
It's really the Rockets and Toronto. That's it.
So and I guess Houston would also probably like throw something at Gabe as well if they strike out on VanVleet.
Could be.
Right.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me. He seems like an Udoka kind of point
Yeah, I
guard.
think he could play under. I mean, I, think
I don't want
in
Gabe
Toronto-
hanging around Ime.
Mm.
I
don't
think
want
I
that.
think Gabe in Toronto's
What
a
about
great
Max?
fit. I think
I don't want
think
Max
Gabe-
around Ime either.
I don't want. Yeah, they're probably get Dylan Brooks. I don't want them.
It feels
I don't
like Max to Cleveland is where this ends up.
I agree.
I kind
The
of feel
Pacers
like
still have cap space. Just want to put that out there.
how much?
They had about 15 million.
Oh wow! So yeah, so now we're really in sign and trade for Cleveland, and that's probably smart by Indiana. I mean, and I guess Cleveland can also use the rest of their MLE on somebody if they
Yeah.
strike out.
Their total salaries right now with the signing, and I don't know if they have any guys on their roster that you could waive and potentially open up more books. Jarris Walker, I don't know. Is he a non-guarantee? Somebody want to look that up for me on Spotrac while I do
Jarrett
this?
Walker's, no, he's a first round pick.
He's a first. Oh, that's. I'm thinking of somebody else. I'm thinking of the guy. There's another Walker on Portland. I was looking up earlier today.
Yeah.
You mean Nikhil Alexander Walker?
No.
He's in the team.
There's like 7 Walkers in the
You
NBA.
got to Joe Ingles to the Magic per Chris.
That's a good.
Haynes.
That was a
Good
report
Joe
that
Ingles
was
to
out
the
there not
Magic?
too long ago.
That,
Yeah.
no figures.
That's a nice
yet,
pick
but
of them.
That's a guy I would have wanted to play a little bit here.
Does it say what
He
Ball
was
handle.
talked
Doesn't
about
say what he
briefly.
signed.
No figures yet on
No
that
figures
deal.
yet. That's either a minimum contract or they use part of their mid-level. So that's a good sign for them.
Probably.
So there's no more
back to the
biannual.
Bucks.
I'm sorry. Is
Huh?
is there any more biannual exceptions or that?
Yeah,
that's
there's biannuals too. Yeah,
So
but that's
Miami
normally
doesn't
not.
have it. They use it on
No,
low,
no,
right?
I'm just curious.
No,
Yeah, they
it's
used it
still a
last
thing.
year.
It just normally isn't used because, like the same thing as using the portion more than the taxpayer mid-level, then you're hard capping yourself, and you don't want to hard cap yourself to pay somebody like $4 million. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Chris Middleton, 3 years, 102.
Yeah. Normally, like I think
Wow.
The
Ooh.
the
Player
Milwaukee
option for
Bucks.
his last year.
that's interesting.
What'd you say, Frankie?
Player option for his 3rd year.
That's a lot of money for a guy that hasn't been good,
That's-
but they needed to keep him.
They had
34 million.
He's been on the down. So how much was that? It was 102,
He's 31 right
three.
now, right?
102 for 3.
102.
This 34
Free.
per. Yeah.
That's a lot of money for that guy, but
So
they
he
got to
turns
keep
34?
Giannis happy, and he has a player
Or
option.
35,
that
34,
he will
35.
likely. He's been hurt a lot. He did not start a lot of the year. Apparently, Mo Samba says check Justice Winslow's likes. Is he trolling us? Is Justice back?
Justice been
He-
trolling. He
Trolling.
says that
Trolling.
Well,
I don't even
that-
want him
hold on.
anymore.
he's been liking tweets about Miami
Yeah,
acquiring
I'm not
Dame,
looking.
and
Gee,
they were
this is
saying
for
like
you.
sign trade. or
Huh?
whatever.
Oh,
Jakob Poeltl, 4 years, 80 million to Toronto.
Great deal.
That's a really good deal for him. He's
I really like Jakob Poeltl,
he's
and,
a
and
really
they
good player.
they really liked him, and that was really their only good big in the last couple years.
Yeah.
He's
And
been,
they needed
he's been
it. Like,
fantastic.
they played a lot better when he was back. Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
here we got
He made
another
it
one.
better.
Cam Johnson, 4 years, 108 to stay with Brooklyn.
So
That's
it's
good.
27 per.
Do you remember the Cam Johnson mania?
Oh.
I love Cam Johnson.
That was what a wild
He's a
time in
hooper.
the league, man. I want Justice to come home, and I also want Justice to stay in the league, man.
I think Justice is definitely a vet minimum candidate for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Would
listen,
you want him back for the vet minimum?
dude,
I would.
fucking course. Do you know how we're gonna blast the song?
I
Justice
wouldn't.
better now, better now. Oh,
They just want
Brass is
vibes.
we might do
Yeah.
a live.
Yeah,
If
but-
Justice
You see
Winslow
that,
comes
Vibe.
back, I'm
You
gonna
see that?
convince Brass to do a live version of Justice Better.
Justice better now.
I love Justice.
I don't
Thank
want
you,
him.
Justice. You can stay. You can go somewhere else.
Excuse me. You wanted a starting point guard? I found you your starting point guard, motherfucker.
I stand. That spacing, disgusting though.
I don't care. Bring my son back.
I don't care.
Bring him home. Bring him home from war, damn it. I don't care.
love
Just bring him
Justice too,
here.
but-
Whatever it takes, Pat.
Justice and Danilo. These are your starters.
Weird outfit.
Hey,
God.
Jack is like, Justice could lock up Joker. What's the
yeah.
UD gift that Trilly keeps tweeting? I'm just saying, would have done a better job than some of these other dudes. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I will believe in Justice Winslow until he's like 50 years old. I think that we all have a guy that we just irrationally believe in.
I would just not like Justice to have to deal with the fans again. The fans got really nasty at the end of that.
Skinny McGee, Slim, Homie, South Florida radio legend says, "What if Justice is the dude Barry was talking about in the fringe point guard starter market?"
Nah, Barry said somebody in the Eastern Conference. We shot well.
and Lou, you said Carter was the
You
best.
said in the
player.
free agent market, right? Because I know that there was a report that they were looking at Monte Morris as a trade candidate for the Wizards. I like that a lot, to be honest.
I do too.
Why is
Me and Lou
the
talking
Nick
about
fan in
Monte
here
and Jelon.
talking shit? Why are you talking shit from home, brother?
We're all
Bing,
home.
bong.
Don't you have a second round playoff series to lose? What are you doing? What y'all doing over here?
Don't worry, they're gonna get
What
James
y'all
Harden.
doing over there? How much y'all paying Julius Randle again? How much? How much? What free agent you sign right now? What you talking about? We're talking about coming off the finals. What are you talking about? Coming off the second round? That's what I thought. Smelly ass fucking trains over there.
Cleveland
Okay,
still
Jake
hopes.
Fisher.
We got a report here. Cleveland still hopes to work a sign trade snare to bring Max Strus to Cavaliers. Sources said, in addition to bringing back Karis LeVert and adding Georges Niang. This is from Jake Fisher from Bleacher Report or Yahoo Sports. My bad.
Boy, the Cavs really trying to get me as a fan.
Yeah,
If you're there,
Reel
bro.
me in.
but I will say Miami has a little bit of leverage here in the sign trade. I think they do.
Finally,
because
Or
there really is only
Max
one
has
team
the
that.
leverage. If he wants to go there, like
If he wants to go there, then he needs to sign for like
Hey,
$4 million or
You
no.
want to talk about fringe
4
starters?
million. I'm
Ricky
saying if he
Rubio?
wants to go to
Hold on. How much do they have left in mid-level now? Because I just said that Niang got signed. Niang signed 3 years, $26 million. I think I had that already queued up. Yeah, so they have 12.4 minus 8.2. Yeah, it's like $4 million is what they could offer him if they don't want Miami's help.
Who's ready? Who's ready for Ricky Rubio season?
Please no.
Who's ready for Ricardito Rubio?
No.
Guys, ready for some backup point guards? I'm gonna hit you with some.
Who's ready for 25% 3-point shooting last year?
You lost me. You lost me at rookie.
You know, he tried to trade for Ricky Rubio for Goran Dragic years ago.
You know that I'm in. You know what? Fuck it, I'm in. I'm in on Ricky. He's
who's ready for combined 67
it was
games?
Going to be Jay Crowder.
Last
Oh,
it was
my
going to be
God.
Jay Crowder and Ricky Rubio for Goran Dragic.
You want a team that is going to refuse to shoot?
It's a 30-11 year, by the way.
You put Jimmy, Bam, Ricky Rubio, and Kyle Lowry on the floor together, and they may lead the league in 24-second violations.
That is gross. I would not stand by and watch that.
Chad says Jimmy hates Ricky Rubio. Was they on the Minnesota team together?
I think so.
Oh, I think they were on the same.
They were? Oh, yeah, I think they were.
Yeah.
Jimmy's burning.
Jeff Teague was a starter though.
Jimmy
so
has.
I don't know.
Was
Jimmy
Ricky
has
Rubio
left.
on that famous
No,
team where
actually-
he beat them with the third stringers?
No, it was. I mean, Jeff Teague talked about that he was.
No, actually,
he
Jimmy
was
never
the
played with
starter.
me.
No, it was a year
Yeah,
after.
sure.
Dude. Chad
Yeah, I
said.
don't think so. I think he had left already.
Barry
Frank
Jackson
Ntilikina.
talking crazy right now. Barry Jackson's talking about getting Jared Allen back in this sign and trade. Baby, baby,
No,
You ain't getting-
hold up
Don't
now.
You
talk-
ain't getting
Barry
Jared
Jackson,
Allen.
Barry Jackson, don't get me excited now, Barry.
We
Barry
don't need
Jackson.
somebody that's afraid of the Knicks. Come on.
Right.
Fuck is
No.
Barry- What is
You
Barry
don't want
talking
somebody that say the
What
lights
is
were
Barry-
too bright, Frankie. Remember he said the
Yo,
lights were
Hold on.
Yeah, lights are too bright.
Let's
Hey,
read what he
hey,
tweeted.
hey,
Let's read what he tweeted. Hold on. He said, and those Heat Cavs sign and trade talks for Strus, which reported this morning, remain ongoing per Yahoo, like I was just reading earlier. But what was the value for Heat coming back? Seti Osman, Dean Wade, Rubio. Jared Allen isn't a stretch big, but would be an asset. They're not trading fucking Jared
They're
Allen.
not
for
trading
nothing.
Jared Allen.
I'll take Shetty Osman though.
Who?
Barry Jackson.
I mean, personally, if I were Miami, I'd rather get a
He's a
trade
little bit
exception
Lou,
because
I don't know
I
how
don't want to
many.
add to that tax bill for Seti Osman when I'd rather bring back Gabe instead.
Guys,
Lou,
I'm trying to
you
find
would-
a silver lining in this today, guys. I'm sorry.
Lou, you would be shocked at how often Cleveland has called Miami about Seti Osman. I have heard Seti Osman and Heat trade rumors. Brian, how long? It's been
He's
a while.
not a bad player. He's not a bad player.
It's
at
just-
all.
I'll take him.
they just keep trying to they keep trying to dump him on the Heat.
Yeah,
about
I think.
People
Well,
who can score off the bench.
there was a trade a few years ago, like 2 years ago, that Miami was trying to trade Duncan Robinson to them, and they were looking to get back Lauri Markkanen. Obviously, I
remember
think
that.
the Cavaliers weren't looking to trade Lauri Markkanen. I think the Heat were looking to get back Lauri Markkanen. They weren't about it.
I've been looking for Lauri Markkanen.
But this was before he got traded to the Jazz in that trade for Donovan Mitchell.
Jack, that is not true. Jack's comment.
He said
What?
Seti is just Strus with a government subsidized bill.
But he
is
27 years
Jack,
old.
he is not as cute. That's number one.
That
So,
smile's nowhere near as
Don't got
good.
that
No, he's
dog in him.
28. He just turned 26.
I'm gonna
28.
miss the middle fingers between Jimmy and Max.
Yeah.
Oh man.
He can shoot. I honestly don't know much about Seti. Does he play defense?
okay.
No,
He's not a great free throw
He's
shooter.
respectful
That's
here.
surprising.
I'm curious.
I'm looking at
I was
basketball reference right now.
I was
I'm-
gonna say we got a lot of players on this team, Brian, that don't necessarily play defense.
Yeah.
But you
Okay,
don't want
but,
to
like,
keep
what-
going in
what
that
else can he do?
direction.
Because he
I
can sort of
agree.
shoot threes. He shoots at about 4 or 5 a year at
He
like a 35,
around a lot.
37% clip.
he's a smart player. Like he's
So-
a decent passer.
I think something interesting to look out for right now, via Keith Smith. He just said Bucks getting Middleton for $6 million less than his player option's pretty big. If they can get Lopez on a reasonable deal, they could open up the taxpayer MLE.
Which is $5 million. That's not much, man.
Oh, okay, it's only $5 million. I was gonna say because I was like, could that be a play for a guy
No,
like
it's just
Strus
$5
or
million.
Gabe?
Just $5 million.
Okay, so it's just $5 million. Never mind.
I'd vomit if Max went to the Bucks.
I think if you're going for less money, those
They
guys
could
may
only
come
offer
back.
$5 million, and Miami offered him $8 million, so he'd be dumb as fuck.
At
to
least
go
Gabe
for
would
$5
come back, I think, for less. I think Max. I think they probably like had a conversation with Max and were like, "Hey, man, we don't have the goods." And
No, I'm
we
sure
picked-
they told him we
we
don't have the
picked-
money.
we picked the other one. So sorry, bro.
They
I
didn't-
really do think Gabe's just waiting
I
on
don't
the
even
Raptors.
think they said we picked the other one. They said we got this. Who won it?
So,
and they
you
both
think
looking
he
at
did
each
this-
other like,
You think they're texting? Do you think Max and
Yes.
Gabe are just like,
Yes.
can you believe these motherfuckers?
Yes, gee. Why are we acting like they're not talking about this? You think that they really said we picked Gabe? No, you know what they said? All we got is $8 million.
You think
and you
that
know they
Gabe-
both said, Gabe and Max probably said, nah.
I think this is how the meeting went with Pat Riley in California the other day. It was like, listen, I talked to Mickey, and I know that you're trying to look for this mid-level. He came back to us and said, the best we can do is $8 million.
Exactly.
Take it or leave it. It's like deal or no deal kind of thing.
And he said, all right, well,
He said,
I'm
"I'll
going to keep
wait."
looking. Gabe ain't say I'll wait. You really
So-
think he's sitting around waiting for $8 million if...
I mean, other teams can definitely offer him that $8 million, but if it's the same $8 million at a different team versus the $8 million from Miami, I think he comes back for Miami.
I'll be very honest.
That's
hold
the
on, wait.
difference.
I think Gabe has a way higher chance of being back compared to. I mean, obviously Max.
Oh,
Max
yeah.
probably gone, but
Cleveland seems determined to really get him.
Remember, Portland's
something-
interested.
something that they
Portland
just reported.
interested in who?
Max.
Oh yeah, that is
Oh,
true.
yeah, yeah,
They
I did see that.
let me look at their cap sheet because they potentially could have a full mid level as well. It's not going to be a full amount, but they have enough to maybe offer him something.
They
just
"You
said
want
the
Miami?
Raptors
We can
are
get Max here.
Call this
Right,
The
right.
Raptors-
we
We'll
You know the one that
bring the
likes
beef
to-
to you.
right. You know the one that likes to smile? We could get him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the way this ends is Tiff's doing Miami Heat beat. They're doing Cavs beat. We're expanding, and then Bon and I are doing Raptor beat. When Gabe,
see,
count me in
We've been
wherever
doing
Gabe
Raptors
goes.
beat for 3 years
I
straight.
was about to say, haven't we been doing Raptors beat?
no, I told Bon it's the return of Raptors beat.
Yo,
Great
if Max goes to the Cavs, that first post game show, I'm gonna show up at all Cavs.
So Trey Jones should sign a contract for 2 years, $20 million with the Spurs.
That's a good
I
deal.
think if I'm Gabe, that's the least I'm taking from Miami.
Right,
How
because like,
much,
look
how
at
much?
these dudes.
2 years, $20
220.
million.
Yeah, I agree.
So the Raptors are supposedly somebody who's plugged into them. Like one of the Raptors are more focused on running it back compared to blowing it up. They haven't been interested in trading Siakam or Anunoby. Their prices have been high. Now Pirtle is back. The focus is now to re-sign VanVleet. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, yeah, because if I think like the Raptors could have gone in a couple directions. They were I think one of the weirdest teams because I think they have good players and their team just hasn't been good, right?
Right.
Like Anunoby's good, Siakam's good, VanVleet is flawed but good, Yuck Pearl's good,
They got the dick now.
Scotty
which helps
Barnes
them.
is good. They got the Dick, he's good.
Number one, Dick.
Yeah, the number
What?
one Dick. But they
ain't saying that.
They fired Nick Nurse, and it was
Jersey
kind of
numbers
weird.
don't want.
They fired a coach. They brought in a guy who doesn't have as much experience, and they have a couple directions they could go. I think if VanVleet were to leave, they have to start kind of probably think to pivot to moving Pascal and Anunoby, and then that kind of dictates their offseason. If VanVleet stays, I think if you're an ownership group that lost a lot of money by spending a year in Tampa, you might be okay with being a 5 seed for a couple of years and just being a first round out. All that stuff. Listen, chat goes, here we go with the Raptors talk. The return of Raptors beat, baby. We're so back.
God damn it, G.
We're so bad.
So I can give you an update on what. So they're not going to have the full mid level, the Portland Trail Blazers, unless they rescind the qualifying offer to Matisse Steibel. He has a $13.1 million qualifying offer, which he
I'll
can
definitely
accept at any point, and that would be,
rescind that.
and then they can open up a full mid level to offer to potentially Max.
He
if they
seemed
want.
like a nice kid, but I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
take
you
that
know.
back.
Barry-
I'm gonna have to take that back.
Barry bomb. Strus, Cavs, Heat have involved a third unidentified team that should result in the Heat getting back at least a modest asset or two.
What the fuck does that mean?
Take that shit with a grain of salt. Barry
Barry,
said,
yo,
"I'm getting off my ass."
Barry has been Barry has not been this funny on Twitter since he went at Ira publicly. Oh god, this is so funny, dude.
This is the perfect time to use my salary cap meme of Andy.
Did Cam Reddish sign somewhere?
A modest asset or two. That's going to be the name of the pod. A modest
Modest.
asset or What does that? What does that mean?
I think that's just 2 second-round picks, G.
It's just
Exactly. That's
And
what
a trade exception. And a trade exception.
Redirected to Portland.
Boy. Oh boy!
Starting
I'm
at the
so
4,
excited.
modest asset.
Which I want.
Guys,
Franky,
dropping
you gotta
dropping dimes just said Strus is to the Cavs is practically confirmed. So
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
I could tweet that too. Stop reading that guy's
right.
tweet.
no man, that guy's a professional, bro.
That guy doesn't know what the
That
fuck he's
guy's
talking
not-
about. Post his
I-
account
I-
again.
I had it days ago. I said that
right,
on the
right.
Pride
G,
show.
G,
Let him
you
know, G.
no,
Yeah,
G,
G
you
texted me
told
that
me
yesterday.
in confidence days ago.
Oh, I texted Tiff a week ago. I go, yo. This,
She was
I
like,
go,
"Don't
yeah.
be
He
mad."
texted her a week ago, but he texted me yesterday.
Yeah,
Wow.
and look how I kept that secret.
You know-
You should have put that out there, G.
I texted Brian with
I started working on sign and trade like calculations
Brian with a
yesterday.
cap question.
You could have given me a whole fucking week to prepare for the show.
Well, no, because it evolved. It evolved into a sign and
Get
trade.
the
and
fuck
then-
out of here.
So I got to be honest, Brian. In a full transparency, I told Leif before you, and Leif goes,
What
you
the
should,
fuck?
You should ask Brian because I don't think this math works out. I go, yeah, good idea.
That's it. I'm done. After 10 years, I officially am retiring from Miami Heat. I am joining Locked On Reasons.
Brian's
Wait, what about Cavs beat?
What about Cavs beat?
He doesn't
Don't you want to come to
Strus like that,
Cavs
Tim.
beat?
You know, like just like that.
I don't
Ryan
like
Sparvero
Sparvero.
says
He's smelly.
Ryan Sparvero says modest asset, the name of G's sex tape.
Oh, that's gross.
Dropping dimes is still blocked.
I feel like if we
think
finish
you're
this
getting
show early, Gabe and Max are gonna have decisions, and then we're gonna have to
There's
restart a
another
new
one,
pod.
Yeah, I
Could
was
you
kinda
imagine?
waiting- I was kind of gonna give him another 5 minutes and see
Yeah.
where this goes. Because
If anything happens, let's come back.
Yeah. The Barry bomb was really, the one I was like, oh, well, where's moving now? And the Giancarlo thing got done. Obviously, the VanVleet. What the fuck are the Rockets doing? Chat's right.
I would love
Right,
to
they
work
got a
with
lot of
these
money,
two.
right? Don't they
Yeah.
got
Even
a
though
lot
he's
of
a
money?
Celtics fan, but
Harry
it's okay.
B resigns
Go
with
Track.
the Sacramento Kings.
That was an
Everybody
extension that was announced yesterday. G.
knows. I
That's
know,
all
but
we know.
I know. I'm just happy for
Never
Ben.
getting him, G.
I know. I got Lowry. One more can I got Lowry, but everybody hates him. At what cost? Everybody hates him, and he played well in the playoffs. It's like I can't win. I just lose.
Wait, who did you just say? Sorry.
Oh, are you not aware of my love
too-
for Harry B?
I don't know who that is, man. I'm so
Every time he
sorry.
says Harrison Barnes,
It might be a what?
Oh,
It might be a
Harry
what?
B. Harrison Barnes. Okay.
Yeah, no,
okay.
Franky.
Harry.
Huh?
It might be a what?
Oh, buddy,
That-
I'm a big
Harrison Barnes love.
I'm a big Harrison Barnes guy. I've always
He
wanted
loves-
him. I always wanted him on the Heat. It
Makes
really never worked out. I even made a graphic a while ago. I was ready for the trade that never happened. I was.
I like
so
the
excited.
MHB tag right there. That shit's hard.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm. Because that's my guy, bro.
Luke,
Guess who designed that?
This part about this was there was no rumor plugging Harrison Barnes.
Nothing.
G
It was
just
just
like I like
willed
this
it.
fit. She's
And-
like,
I
I like
mean,
this
he
fit.
got
caught
Lowry
on.
too.
Bro, it caught on. Everyone was like, Harrison Barnes to the Heat? Like question mark?
You know what's funny? I wasn't obviously, I wasn't working with you guys at the time, and I was like, at the time, I was like going through fours that like could fit, and I was like, damn man, I like Harrison Barnes to the Heat. And then I literally shit you not, 20 minutes later, I get a fucking notification on my phone. Twitter's going crazy, like, oh, maybe Harrison G put it out there. This is just funny
G
to
just
me
started
now.
a whole ass rumor.
Yeah.
We
People
were
were
kinda
in the
talking-
trade machine.
Yeah, I was like, oh god, I do not want to see Harrison Barnes choke in the playoffs. Like I see him do it for every team he's on. I don't need to see him for Miami. I'm done. I don't want that guy on my fucking team.
We were talking
He's-
the other day.
He's like 20 million a year and he averaged 10 points in the playoffs. No, thank you. No, we're good. We have Tyler for that.
Leave him alone. We were talking the other day about the power of influence that Heat Beat has, right? I started Harrison Barnes rumor that's based in no reality. Christian has executives texting Ethan because of his fake accounts. That one time we
that's
reported on the
hilarious.
Dion Waiters injury, and we said Dion would be out 6 to 8 weeks with an ankle injury, and the Heat
You were right, by the way.
scurried to Anthony Chang, the puppet, Barry, and Ira, and said there's no timetable for Dion Waiters.
Yeah, he's out
What a time!
6 to 8 weeks.
Hold
What
the Heat
a time!
hostage.
6 to 8 weeks, man. What a time. What a time. Cardeliana says she's here to support Tiff. I want to thank everybody in chat that's rocking with us today. I also want to remind everybody that we have our Pride donation still going. We raised almost $2,000, which shout out to you guys. I said this at the top of the show. Say it again, !Pride in Twitch chat. You can click, you can donate. We're still taking donations. It's going to run until the end of July. Unfortunately, we don't have any more raffles to give you, but it goes to a great cause, especially with all Supreme Court rulings going on right now. So, if you have it in your heart to help out a group of people that need it, the trans community down here in South Florida, your dollars are going to good places. And also the Dan Le Batard show auction that we have going on right now. And chat's making fun of it. And the last thing is if you have won a prize on our raffle, if you're joining us right now in chat, please DM Heapy. We're missing 2 people. I believe it's Tito and MHB Princess. We need your information so we can send you guys your prizes that you won. Thank you so much for your donations. It meant a lot. But please DM us on Twitter at MIAHeapy to
before we go, I can actually sort of break down the sign trade and what it could potentially look like in terms of what the Cavs have to send out in terms of salary. So we got 64. Say it's $64 million divided by the 4 years. So that Evan Massey tweet is correct. Tito, yeah. The Cavaliers would have to send out at least $7.2 million to trade match. So if you're looking at players on that roster making about $7.2 million, that's why we're talking about guys like Cedi Osman, who's making 6.7, Ricky Rubio's making 6.1, Dean Wade's making 5.7. The perfect player to make this trade work the easiest would be a package of like Cedi Osman and Sam Merrill. Sam Merrill has a non-guaranteed contract for the rest of the season. So what would have to happen is very similar to what the Suns had to do with CP3. You have to guarantee a portion of his contract up until $7.2 million to make that trade match work. So if we're doing the numbers off the top of my head, 7.2 subtracted by 6.7, we're talking Sam Merrill has to make at least $500,000 for this coming NBA season for that trade to work. So it could potentially be a trade where they send those 2 contracts not to Miami, but to that third team. Miami gets a trade exception worth roughly $8 million, and then whatever those modest assets may be.
Modest assets.
Well, he said.
All right. So let's go through a couple of the best free agents available still on the board. For point guards, we got VanVleet, Russell, D'Angelo Russell, then Russell Westbrook, Gabe Vincent. Apparently, I thought Austin Reeves already agreed to something. Oh, he's a restricted, so he has an offer sheet.
Not yet.
Austin Reeves, Malik Beasley, Dante DiVincenzo, Max Strus still available. Shooting guards, Dylan Brooks, Herb
Is
Jones.
that what I said? I don't remember what I said.
Jay Crowder and Kelly Oubre Jr. For power forward, we have PJ Washington, who's restricted. Grant Williams, who's also
restricted too.
Rui Hachimura, who's restricted. Herb Jones is restricted, as you are correct. Jalen McDaniels. And for centers, we have Brooke Lopez, Christian Wood, and a Plumlee brother.
Tristan
So-
Thompson.
We don't even
You don't
know
know
which
which one.
Plumlee.
It says Plumlee. I don't know. Is that Miles? Is that Mason? How do I know?
He's Mason.
We got a Zeller at home.
They all look the same.
Wow.
Some other point guards, Miami's in the market for, guys. We have Jesus, it's gonna get ugly here. Aaron Holiday.
We need Jesus.
Um,
Can we
shit,
get Drew instead?
Corey Joseph?
Oh, I love Kojo.
He's
I'm
still
in
in the
on
league.
Kojo.
Kojo lives in Miami, so
I love Kojo. I'm so
I
in
would
on
be
Kojo.
cool with him here. Dennis Smith Jr. That's kind of my dream scenario.
I
don't
like
think he
him
goes
a
for
lot.
minimum.
I don't mind
I like
Dennis
him a
Smith
lot.
Jr.
But-
He's
but
actually
if-
he's close. He's good buds with Bam too.
Yeah, if Javon Carter got 3 for 19 or 20, he ain't
Yeah.
getting. He's not taking the minimum.
Well,
Or
Miami
at
could
least
only offer him a minimum. So.
Wasn't he a lottery pick at
Exactly.
some point?
Yeah.
that's the 8th
Didn't
overall or
he
9th
revive
overall
his
pick.
career? Wasn't he out of the league and
He was
came
out of
back?
the league for a year. Wasn't he in the G League for a bit?
Yeah, he
He-
has like a crazy story. I know he was on the low post.
Miami fucked up by never offering him at least a 1-year contract, prove it deal, like non-standard guaranteed. But it is what it is.
I mean, he was pretty bad for a while.
A lot of people really want.
But he's
Christian Wood. Go ahead.
He's an elite athlete. He likes Bam, and he's a hustle player on defense. He's changed the way he plays.
He's
You
definitely
take a flyer on somebody like him, man. Especially at like 20 years old. He was like 22 years old at the time.
Why did Cardilliana say Nerlens Noel to the Heat?
I would love that.
There was a report from 5 Reasons in their group, the off the floor feed, that Miami reached out to his agent potentially.
As they do every year, it feels like.
But I mean, it doesn't mean that they're signing him. They inquire about these players to see what potential markets might be for a free agent center, which they need a backup 5. So obviously they're going to reach out to agents for different centers. Doesn't mean they're signing him exactly.
I'd take him over some of those names
G
mentioned.
Sure.
He was terrible though. He was really bad for the Nets last year.
You take that or a modest asset?
I think I looked at his basketball ref. I would take a modest asset over a 27% field goal percentage.
How would you guys feel? I'm gonna go through a couple of names.
Look up Nerlens Noel's numbers with the Nets and come back to me.
They're
There's
bad.
no way he shot 27%.
He's bad. I'm not a fan. I am a fan. I used to be a fan maybe like 10 years ago, but not anymore.
He took 6 shots. It's not like a whole season.
This man he shot 1 for 6. Come on, man. Let the guy live.
Yeah.
That's more than Big Bob's that one year.
I'm not here to say he's good, but you know.
I mean, for the minimum, like you're not gonna get a great player at the minimum.
Yeah. I think we're being too picky at what we describe as players for this.
How do we feel about Bossman99, aka Jay Crowder, returning to the Miami Heat on the minimum? How would that make you feel?
To do what?
There you go.
I don't know, man. To show up to work, you know,
To play backup 4.
to fucking to salsa dance
in all caps.
to salsa dance in the locker room,
The tweet in all caps.
to
Yeah.
tweet in all caps, to get blown by on a switch.
And exactly.
He still can't shoot, right, G?
His shooting fell off, I feel like.
Very inconsistent. Christian and I said it for years. We were Tiff. You don't know, but when he was lights out shooting, Christian and I were saying at some point this ride ends because he's not a good shooter, and he just kept shooting well. And then eventually, when he started shooting poorly in the finals, unfortunately, Christian and I did not want to be right then, and we couldn't even enjoy being right because they lost to the league.
The bit started as soon as he got traded to the Heat.
Yeah, because he shot like
he was shooting
70%. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
So they couldn't stop because it was a jinx.
You want a guy who shot 0% from 3 in the playoffs?
Bam.
He didn't make a single 3.
No.
Well, he didn't play that many minutes either.
Crowder?
He played 4 games.
I'll take him for a minimum just because he knows I'll take him over Kevin Love.
No. You take that back, Saucy Takes.
I'm not taking that back, man. That's why my name is Saucy Takes. You don't gotta agree with me, man. But he moves his feet better than Love does on defense now, you know.
Does he?
I mean, we are getting modest assets.
Yeah, modest. he fits the description.
At least we don't have to give up 6 modest assets to get you a Crowder.
There you go.
No, yeah.
There you go.
It's a win for us. For a minimum, I'll take a chance.
What to play the backup 4?
Hey, Twitter.
You don't even have a starting 4.
Twitter's connecting some dots right now. Max Strus at $16 million, third team. Colin Sexton at $17 million.
Bro, Danny Ainge hates Pat Riley.
He does hate Pat Riley.
Listen, all I know
I
is
thought the idea was that the Heat wouldn't be getting a player back in return. So
Okay, but now if it's Colin Sexton, life has changed, Brian. He's culture pilled.
You're adding $16 million to his cap sheet. I already tell you how much the tax bill will be at just 12.4.
Colin Sexton, Brian. Colin Sexton.
you got to send out you got to send something out.
There better be a 4-team deal then, because we got
Somebody leaving.
Send
Somebody
Duncan.
leaving with something.
Send Duncan in the first.
Depot.
Hey.
Somebody leave. That's not enough.
That's Duncan in the first. Duncan in the first is enough to get rid of him.
No, he said Depot.
Oh no, I'm saying Duncan in the first.
Yeah, you got to leave here. I'm leaving here with something.
I think if they can get Sexton, I think you cut your losses with Duncan in the first. Sorry,
I
Al.
would do that. I would do that too.
Oh
no.
Lakers.
Oh, no.
$3 million.
Oh no!
The
Oh
Lakers.
no! That's be real sad.
Javon, no!
No!
Javon, no!
Oh my God, y'all! I'm for real. That just made me real. LeBron again.
No, Siobhan.
That's not going to be a sign trade, I don't think.
Oh my God, guys. Anywhere but there.
Damn, Gabe is gonna clean up in LA. Holy shit.
Why?
Oh my god.
Why?
That's not. Oh my god. See how? Yeah.
33.
Man,
It-
hey
it
Brian,
hurt,
man,
don't it?
respectfully,
It hurt, don't it?
fuck that
It
tax
hurt,
bill.
don't it,
Let Mickey
Saucy?
pay that shit, man. Bring my
It
boys
hurt, don't
back.
it, Saucy? It hurt, don't it? It hurt, don't
so,
it?
It hurts
It
so
hurts-
damn bad.
it hurt,
Tiff.
don't
I'm
it?
so hurt, Tiff.
Okay, I just want to make sure because everybody's all of a sudden now, Tiff this, Tiff that. Yeah, I just want y'all to know the shit hurts.
It hurts, man.
I
It
feel
hurts
like I
so
raised
bad.
these. I feel like I raised these men. I've been rooting
Bro.
for them.
First
I've been
Kendrick
defending-
Nunn, now Gabe Vincent.
No,
Oh,
I don't care
oh,
about Kendrick. Don't you do
Oh,
that.
don't you do that, Brian. Don't you put them in the same sentence.
Whoa, whoa,
Don't you
whoa,
put that evil on me,
What
Ricky
if
Bobby.
this
The
means-
Stephen A.
means
Smith-
Max comes back? What if this means
Don't
Max
you do
comes
that.
back?
Orange and blue.
Max
sky.
ain't coming back.
Why
They
would I
ain't got
want
enough
Max if
money.
I got Duncan at home?
Hold up. Hold up.
Look, man.
I'm sorry. You really? Really?
You can't pay them both. That's
Barry-
Exactly.
$8 million right
Barry
now.
said he'd offered 3 years starting at 7.7.
That's terrible.
That's
That's
horrible.
under the $8 billion.
I get it if you don't have the money, but just say, man, we don't have the money. Like don't lowball him. Just be like, we ain't got it. I looked in the couch cushions. I went into my old jacket pockets. You know, I looked in the ashtray in the car. I don't know if they still have
Call
ashtrays,
Blonde.
but
I need to know if she's okay because I am fucking hurt right now.
G, call
Is Bond
Bond and
I
put
did,
it
I
and put
did.
it.
I put her.
No,
I put her in the
we
group
can-
chat.
we
I go,
can.
Bond, come on. I sent her a link.
Bond is
Jesus
I'm like-
play right now.
Christ,
I'm not
man.
gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Max is my dude, but y'all know I really love Gabe. Like I've been
yeah, for
like rooting for him. That hurt a little bit because I honestly was like, they not gonna lose both of them. Like in my
That's-
heart of hearts, I really felt like one of them would come back.
And Tiff, that's exactly what you said. And you know,
Yes.
not to like, you know, what Brian said is kind of true. Like we have a shooter, you know, so we have maybe
We
somebody
gotta
who
stop
can kind
saying
of.
Max is a shooter.
No. I agree, but I'm saying we have somebody who can, you know, do some things that Max can do offensively. But we have
He
nothing.
can do one thing that Max can do offensively better is shoot.
I agree.
He can't do nothing else Max can do on the court.
And I agree. My thing is, we have nobody that can do what Gabe Vincent can do on the court.
But that's y'all fault.
Hey,
Who
if I
fault is
was
that?
there,
I
Hey,
want
who-
to. I want
G-
to. I
so-
want to push back on that a little.
G's
bit.
gonna plug his Lowry. I'm talking about besides Lowry, man. We
Can
can't
you let
trust
him
that
have
guy.
his
G?
G, can you let him have no G? Let him have his pain moment.
This
G,
is my
it ain't
7
always
stages
about
of grief.
you. Yes, let him go through his grief right now. You ain't see that man's face when it popped up on the when it popped up on his phone.
Man, I was defending Gabe Vincent back when we were starting Kendrick Nunn and people were bitching when Nunn missed a couple games and Vincent was out there and they were like, bring Nunn back. I'm like, he's better than Nunn. And people were sending him, like you said, to Asia, to Puerto Rico, man, the disrespect for him has gone way too far. I'm glad he got his fucking bag, but it hurts because we should have kept one of the two, and my bet would have been on him just because I thought he was going to be cheaper and more attainable. But you can't disrespect the man with $8 million, man. I'm happy for him
I
ultimately.
mean, let's not. I mean, 11 million is not like this fucking. You know, it's
but gee, that's his value. You just
no,
it's
I
like,
agree.
you know,
I agree.
I just think
wasn't
they
an
should have
overpay
said
for
we don't
Gabe.
have it. I just think they should have just said we don't have it. We're not,
Oh,
you know, we're
man.
not gonna be able to. We're not gonna be able to pay you. This is literally all we got. And what them taxes look like in California?
A lot.
Bad.
Because
Steep?
because that might have been. You know what? I'm just leaving
he's-
because
It's if
I
he's from there though.
That is
well, there
true.
you
He is
go.
from there.
So there you go.
He's from
can
there.
just
He's
go home.
always
He grew
been
up
a
a Heat
Cali
fan,
kid.
right? He grew up a Heat fan, I think.
Yeah, he probably did, but he
Oh.
went to Berkeley
Doesn't
in,
really
in
matter.
in California. Like that's his place. He always said he wanted to come to Miami because he wanted to come out east for the first time. Now I guess he's just going back home.
No,
And I'm
but,
happy
like,
for him, man.
When he was younger, he actually
Oh.
had pictures in Heat jerseys and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's what I was saying.
The little selfie, the mirror selfie.
So,
I'm
just doing
endeavoring.
the math-
We may
I'm
we
doing
may
the
have a
math-
guest. We may have a guest. Hold
Okay,
on.
I'm doing the math real
working.
quick. Gabe's first
Alright.
year salary with the Lakers would be at 10.4 million, about 10.5. What was it? What did JRICH's report 7.8,
Agreed
7.7.
for 7.7.
Yo,
Starting at
put
7.7.
that Alf.
7.7.
Put
So
Alf's
he signed
comment
for
up,
2
please.
He signed for $2.8 million more. I think with the with the state taxes, that might be like maybe $1 million more. I think that he probably could have offered an extra $1 million, and they probably could have gotten back. Whatever.
You know, feelings are involved and all this, and I'm sad.
But I'm just saying,
Look,
this is similar
no,
to PJ Tucker, where Miami offered a contract that might have been like $1 million or $2 million, just under. And then in this situation, he could have actually offered more. They couldn't do it for PJ.
So
Yeah.
But they could have offered.
But I didn't even
more.
feel sad that they lost PJ. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't feel sad.
I agree. Because you understood they didn't want to hard cap themselves. But here now
after tax, it's 5.
I don't know how true that is.
I don't know how true that is, but if that's according,
But that's
to
what I
Forbes,
was gonna state. That's what I was gonna state. In California, the taxes are so much higher. You didn't maybe need to offer him the 11 mil or whatever his starting salary is gonna be. You just had to up it 1 or 2 million, Mickey.
Wow.
1 or 2 million, Mickey.
Well, like, so Brian's explained that when you up at 1 or 2 million, it's not just 1 or 2 million. It becomes
because
exponential.
It's on. It's
1 or
right.
2 million
It's
becomes
huge,
like 10 million.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
and I get that, but that's 10 million to Mickey, but that's 1 or 2 million to Gabe. It's still the same amount of money for him.
I agree. I'm with you.
No, yeah. I get what you're saying. At the end of the day, it's not my money.
I'm not gonna
let him
lie.
pay that fucking tax bill.
And
like Tiff says, that ain't my damn money.
What I imagine they sold him on, they were. I mean, I think we've covered this team enough to know how they operate. They probably went to Gabe. Listen, this is our situation. This is our tax situation. And this is as much as we are comfortable.
This is what we got
because of the tax. And they're probably going to say, listen, you get a break, a state income tax. You have a role here that you know that you excel and you're comfortable with. And you know that, you're playing with Jimmy and Bam, who you know are committed to winning, and with a top 10 all-time coach in Eric Spoelstra. And they're probably like, does that make up a couple million? Or really, at the end of the day, he probably gets paid more here, given the tax situation.
And he might be starting in LA.
We got a tweet from Barry. Heat declined to increase its 3 years, $24 million offer to Vincent, who preferred to stay in Miami if things were equal.
It hurts, Franky.
It hurts a little bit.
Oh, it hurts, man. It's like and
that's not even that expensive of a contract. Now I'm looking at
no,
it. Like,
it hurts a little bit.
At the 10.4, like that's under 13, which I was expecting to sign. I'm looking at the tax bill if he had signed at the same exact number.
What if he signed
for
at 10?
Miami? I'm just doing the exact number that the Lakers are doing because I'm just gonna say if the numbers were the same, he said that he was gonna sign Miami. So if it was 10.476 million, we're looking at a $76 million tax bill. They could bring it down if they, let's see, if they waive and stretch Oladipo, that number could go down a bit, down to 3.15 dead cap hit. I mean, just do this really quick so I can kind of see what that tax bill could have looked like. Because there's ways that they could have limited it down immediately with that wave and stretch. It could have been down to 58, which is pretty much where exactly they were. Like a couple $1 million. Like they could have made it work, I think.
I think so.
I don't know.
But they might have also valued the $10 million Oladipo expiring as well. They might have valued that. So maybe they did not want to waive and stretch that.
I have no idea.
I disagree. I disagree with valuing that more than they should, especially when you have the Lowry expiring. I don't really think you need another expiring.
And like I said in I think one of the previous pods recently, they have time to make a decision on Oladipo if they want to waive and stretch him.
Yep.
Like they have until the day before the start of the regular season. So they have up until August to do this kind of move. And then they can basically use his entire summer to field offers for him to salary dump him if they need to, or whatever they need to do to limit that dead cap hit of $3 million. So
Weird Elf in chat says should change his name to Goofy Harrison at this rate.
that's a great joke.
He's a fucking side character at this point. This is incredible.
God.
Bam tweeted my boy with the with like all
With the
caps for
bags.
Gabe with the
Yeah.
bags.
Yeah,
Oh
that
man,
was
it
pretty
hurts.
sad.
Bam's a homie Hall of Famer. Barry
Jesus.
Jackson tweeted Pat Riley while having coffee with Vincent in Santa Monica this week. Tried to convince him to stay. Told him how important he is, but even with taxes in California, hard to turn down $33 million from the Lakers over 24 months, over 24 million from the Heat. Yeah. At the end of the day, the size of the contract, that was the difference. It was about, we're looking at it
$9
annually,
million
but
difference.
really, yeah, it's a $9 million difference, and you know that's a big difference for a guy.
Which is
like
what I'm
him.
saying. I think if they had offered an extra $1 million per year, it would have been close.
Yeah, they probably get there, but you know it didn't. And I'll say this, and I've been wanting to say this all show. We have to have a real conversation about what we actually want from the front office, because when they overpaid for guys, and I'm not saying that this would have been an overpay for Gabe, but when they committed years in salary to role players like Duncan, like Dion Waiters, James Johnson, Kelly Olynyk, although the Kelly contract ended up not being so bad. Those guys were productive for Miami, but those, and they were modest contracts at like 10 to 11 to 12 million a year. Those were not like break the bank contracts. They got a little scarred, and they don't want to do that anymore. And then they did it with Duncan again, and it essentially ruined their cap sheet. And they are being a little cautious right now, especially with the tax. I agree with the fans, because I think that they have to, the only way out of this is to pay some luxury tax. And I think they're trying to get away with not paying it. But in reality, they're in cap hell, and the only way to get out of it is to write out some of these deals and make sure that, you pay a little bit of luxury tax along the way. What are you going to say, Franky?
The issue with all those,
I'm not justifying them, chat, by the way.
No.
I'm explaining. I'm explaining the behavior. I just said they have to pay the tax. I think they should have. I think $1 or $2 million more for Gabe over 3 years is not a big deal. But also, like that's like, I'm sad that he's gone. But also, like, we've seen them commit 3-4 years to role players at this exact figure, and it was really bad for them. And they couldn't get off those deals, and it ruined a lot of their offseason plans. So let's remember where they came from and the lessons that they're learning. And maybe they're doing the wrong things with the wrong players, but also we say a lot of the time, they'll find another Duncan, they'll find another Max. You have to have confidence that they can't find another Gabe. I would have kept them. I think they have to pay the tax to get out of the situation. But if I'm them, that's how I'm thinking. What you got, Frank?
I'm gonna wait to fully judge the offseason until it's over, because we expected a lot of these expiring contracts to be moved in trades, and that's how they'll fill out their roster. We didn't expect them to be super active in free agency just because of things where it stands. The issues with all those deals and similarities that all those deals was the years. It wasn't the money.
It was the fourth year.
It was the extra years. Duncan 5 years, James Johnson 4 years, Dion Waiters 4 years.
Oh my God!
Oh no!
Way too long.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Franky.
Break it.
Go ahead, Tiff.
Go ahead, Luke.
What a Nave to the Suns.
Yes, I want to look at G's face.
I wanted that guy. We wanted that guy,
Yes.
Tiff.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I know.
That has to be a minimum. That one actually, a lot of people shit on Pat for the fucking, what was the guy that Jimmy almost fought with in Indiana? That
TJ
loser.
Warren.
Yeah, that they were mad because Pat didn't get TJ Warren. If he went for the minimum, we gotta knock on the old man's door.
Gee, he's going to minimum because that team already has the superstars ready in
We made
place.
the finals, baby.
It doesn't matter, man. I promise you, to these players, it doesn't matter, and it's unfortunate because the whole thing with this Dame situation is you can't convince these people, like, look, come here, we're gonna get Damian Lillard.
Where's he going to play in this rotation right now?
Who?
If he signed
Watanabe?
him? Yeah, he might start for Phoenix.
I think they offered more money to Bates Diop. They're probably going to put him in there because he's a 3-and-D guy, but he could just be off the bench and just be a shooter.
All these guys are bet minimums, by the way.
I have a question because I don't know if he's going to go for this little, but Dennis Schroeder, how would you guys feel about him? Because he's not re-signing at this point.
I don't.
I would like him.
I get it,
at a
Tiff.
minimum. At a minimum, I would like him.
I'd take him at a minimum too, but shit.
That might be one of the guys that they're probably talking to. partial.
They should talk to him because have
The
you seen
moderate
who's out there?
asset.
No, that's not moderate asset. This is just one of
He's a
the
free
free
agent.
agents that they're
Oh,
potentially
okay.
looking that are partial starters or whatever they said.
Yeah. But G, what I was saying, the issue is that there's no time to develop, guys. Jimmy is 34. We've been talking about Jimmy's window for 4 years. Jimmy's 34 now. He didn't finish this playoff run healthy. He's struggled. He's had 2 of the last 3 playoff runs. He hasn't been healthy, and you could argue last year he wasn't fully healthy either because of the Peyton Pritchard injury. You need to win now. Gabe's a ready to win now guy. Like I know you don't disagree with this, but like they've got to prioritize this shit. I get that waiting for Dame and stuff, but they can't keep fucking going all in. And when they have fucking 50 other needs as well, like once they get Dame, okay, we've got Dame.
Big's another need.
We need a starting 4 too. Like you can't start Caleb at the 4 with Dame. Like that's not gonna work. For a regular season, Caleb's already barely making it through regular seasons as is. You put him at the 4 all season, he's not gonna make it, and he's not gonna be on a contract year. You're gonna lose him too.
I want to clarify that Jimmy's the guy who plays 4, not
Yeah, but still,
But no, that's, I guess yeah. No, your point.
No. I agree.
And
I
he
agree with
guards
both of you guys.
not wings, but yeah.
We have
Listen.
nothing right now, guys. Like this team is literally Jimmy Bam, Duncan Robinson, Kyle Lowry.
I love how Duncan's in there now. Wasn't always.
He deserves to be. He deserves to be. And I hope he stays unless he fetches us somebody better.
Bam's retweeting Kevin Massey reports.
Who is that guy?
Bam just quote tweeted Legion Hoops citing the Massey report about Max going to the Cavs. So if Bam is retweeting that, kind of signals that that's done.
Bro, I'm so hurt, guys.
Well, that would be the sign and trade, as Brian had talked about.
At least we get something back from
He's
Strus,
not signing it. Modest asset.
Modest assets.
Modest.
That's not.
Yeah, this is not no top of the line.
Might be a modest asset at this point. He hasn't played much.
I cannot believe that Watanabe went for the minimum. That one
He went for the minimum. It's confirmed.
Ingles
went for 11 million per for the Magic. 2 for 22.
I think Phoenix
Magic had to spend money. I think that's what it was.
I think Phoenix did. I mean, obviously this is obvious, but I think Phoenix addressed a lot of the issues that we thought that they had, and they're in a position now where they can split Ayton into 2 deals, and suddenly they can probably get 2 more guys out of him if it doesn't pan out for them, and he will have some value. It's
sounds like they're keeping him.
Shake Milton just agreed with Minnesota. That's somebody that the Heat were interested in as well.
I don't like Shake Milton.
I don't like Shake
I
Milton.
remember when Sedano tried to convince me that Shake Milton was good. I was like, shut up.
Shake Milton's like a 3rd-string point guard.
Well, he's
His
going.
name is Shake Milton. His name is Shake Milton.
These are the guys who the Heat are
guys, have you seen our roster? We don't even have a backup right now. We have 60 games of Kyle Lowry if we're lucky. We're praying respectfully, and we're praying for Jamari Bouye.
I'm gonna tell you,
make some phone calls.
I'm gonna tell you who doesn't. I'm gonna tell you who doesn't have modest assets. Kyle Lowry.
Those are quite at large.
On Instagram Live, Gabe Vincent, Trae Young said on Instagram Live, they say Gabe Vincent just signed with the Lakers. Boy got paid. Congrats, Gabe.
Yeah, he hates him. He's happy as fuck.
He's like, you out the East? He wanted him out the East quick.
His little baby hairs over there looking mighty happy right now.
That guy's a loser. That guy needs to shut up.
Don't worry, we got Bouye for his ass, Franky. Let him know. We just gonna turn the motherfuckers.
What's that?
I
what's
mean,
that white point guard they signed?
Caleb Martin would be guarding him, but
Oh, it's gonna be Alondes Williams and Jamari.
Alondes Williams. Hey guys, do your research. That guy's gonna be here. Milton got 10 million for 2 years.
They gave
2 years, 10
that's
million.
a lot of money that's a lot of money for a guy named Shake Milton.
Hey, as long as Nickeil Alexander-Walker, they just gonna let him walk.
He's resigning too. The Timberwolves beat guy said that.
So I'll put out this tweet. I just want to share on screen so you guys can see what Gabe's new contract is with the Lakers. So it's 3 years, $33 million for Lakers at 5% increments. LA used portion of their 12.4 mid-level to sign him, since they went over the $5 million taxpayer portion of it. then they're now considered hard capped at the first apron, even if they didn't use the full amount. So that first year salary with 5% increment starts at $10.47 million. Last year in the deal would be 11.5.
Everybody's just yeah.
Jaime Jaquez is the one.
We have no one, Frankie. We're calling up
Lou,
Norris Cole.
I've never seen you so beaten down before.
I'm just man. It's frustrating, G, because with the tax, all you had to do was be somewhat competitive. You couldn't have paid him $2 million more. Like, you don't think he has earned this? He started the last 2 postseasons just about every game.
Yep. He was a huge part of making the finals. He was a huge part of the game you won in the finals.
He's been a huge part of this last couple of years run.
Exactly.
Like,
I think the thing that they'll miss.
It'll win the Eastern Conference Finals without him.
They rewarded, and this is no shade. This is no shade to
that series.
Yeah, this is no shade to some of the guys that they've paid, because like I got a James Johnson jersey, but they rewarded guys like James Johnson, Dion Waiters, and they didn't make the playoffs with them. This guy helped you get to the finals.
They've overcorrected a little bit. Well, again, the big, to me, the big mistake was the Duncan contract, which again, I think a lot of us were wrong, and you know, I gotta be honest with you, it's not like a bad deal for him. Like, that's what guys at that skill set were getting. That was a market price for him. And
at the time, correct.
At the time, the issue is that he couldn't play with Tyler, so he couldn't close games. And you see this postseason, when Tyler wasn't on the floor, he could close games, and he closed a lot of games. Problem is that, you know, you've invested a lot of money in 2 guys that can't play together at the end of important games. And, you know, obviously he has limited skill set, although he's improved a lot. But again, you're paying a guy a lot of money to not be a starter. You're paying 2 guys a lot of money to not be starters. And the guys that were starters are now gone, right? Those guys that were eating up the minutes, that were younger, that had younger legs. And I just don't want to paint, you know, both of them. I mean, Max hasn't left yet, but, you know, Gabe is a guy that had great 2-man synergy with Bam. I thought in the pick and roll, he had improved a lot as a kind of a playmaker, as a scorer out of the pick and roll. I thought his finishing numbers were really, really good for Miami, and they improved steadily. I thought his passing to Bam in the pick and roll was really good, and he was a legit mid-range pull-up threat in that area, and that's a spot of the floor that they did not have a lot of that. It was just really Jimmy and Gabe were guys that could get shots in the mid-range in pick and roll, so it's a little sad that they lose that dimension to their offense. Gabe Vincent, yeah, man, just
not only that, G, but Gabe really became one of their best guard screeners. Especially when Kyle was going through his injuries, Gabe was really willing, helped Bam and Jimmy get a lot of cross matchups in the post off his screens, a lot of easy looks just off his screens and his creation like that. Like he improved so much on both ends, and man, I'm gonna miss him.
Brass is really upset in chat. He said "fuck the Lakers" and called him Snake Vincent.
Come on, Brass.
Brass. Yo, if you go to the Lakers,
this is how he shows his emotions. This is how he's showing his emotions. He mad.
Hey, everybody. I'm not here to judge, because everybody, you know, deals with the grief differently.
And I do wonder this. So, you know, kind of looking at Gabe's advanced metrics have never liked Gabe. His finishing, not as good as I remembered. He shot 50% at the rim this year, which was in the 6th percentile. I would like to see his playoff numbers, because I felt that was a lot better. He was a great mid-range shooter this year. Shot 52% from mid-range. That would be in the 96th percentile. And I really think that's where he got his bread and butter. And his shooting was only 33% last year in the regular season, but we know that he really turned that up in the postseason. They're gonna miss him, man. His defense, obviously, you know, huge for them. Played 68 games. And played 26 minutes a game. That's you know, that's a good chunk of minutes that you have to replace now. With Bouye or whoever the fuck you kind of get in here, Dennis Schroeder. Oh God, what did Caleb post on Instagram? Caleb saying goodbye to the homies.
Yeah, you know he is.
And you can tell that this group was tight, but also it's like, yeah, it stinks.
G gave up. He's like, you know, I'm trying to keep, you know, he's like, I'm trying to keep the energy high. He's like, you know, guys, it just fucking sticks.
Yeah, it's
Caleb posted the picture with him, Max.
yeah, I was gonna put it on screen.
Oh my
put it
god,
on
because
the
it's gonna be,
screen.
and then there was one.
Oh no! Be a great thumbnail for the be a great thumbnail for the YouTube video. Thanks, Caleb. At least we have that.
Yeah. Positives.
You know,
Yeah.
it's,
Deep.
I actually redid the math, guys, because that same deal for 33 million, Miami could have offered 8% increments, so that starting salary would have been even less than what the Lakers are getting. It would actually start at $10.1 million for the Heat this year. So the Heat couldn't offer him $10.1 million for
So
the
that's
season.
2.4 million more.
I didn't think of Caleb as somebody
Sad.
who uses a pleading face emoji. I gotta be honest with you. I didn't have Caleb as a guy who used that. That's actually the biggest surprise of the day.
Those are his boy.
Listen, you all have texted with me. You know that I'm a big pleading face emoji guy. I just didn't think Caleb was. I think I'm a little.
He strikes me as a kind.
I don't know. He did it. He did it. I guess it shouldn't, but kind of an upset. I think.
You said pleading eyes.
Yeah, that's what it's called. The pleading.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. Yeah. When you type it out, that's what it. I wouldn't have called it that either, but
I thought it was like eyes watering.
That'd be the government name for that emoji. Well, I don't think we're having our guest today, guys. You wanna wrap up? I don't think there's any more new. I guess we'll wait until 7. We'll wait 4 more minutes and we will sign off. We'll wait for Max for 4 more minutes, and then we'll be on our way and enjoy the rest of our weekend. Our fine folks here have done pretty much overtime. It's a long show. This is as long as the damn Pride show.
James Jones is cooking in Phoenix. God damn.
James Jones has been unreal today. He has surpassed Pat.
G, you want to know why, G? In my opinion,
Because
it's
he's
quite
awake.
No, I'm not gonna be that guy.
His ownership's
But
willing to spend money.
But maybe that's the case, but it's quite simple. They have a pitch to these free agents. They have a set roster in place before free agency started. We could have done the same if we could have gotten Bradley Beal. You already know how I feel about that. These are the prices you pay for waiting for Dame. If with Bradley Beal on the roster, maybe they would have been more comfortable giving somebody like Gabe that money or letting him walk and getting a replacement a little quicker, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
So you're saying if they had Dame on the roster, then they go out and get Gabe back at the $10.3 million? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just
I don't
saying
think that factored in at all to their decision. If I had to be honest.
I'm just saying things. It's not just Gabe specifically. I'm just saying things could move differently. All these moves Phoenix has been able to make, all these guys are because they have a roster in place. They already know what their future holds, and we're still in wait and see mode because of Lillard, and I'm cool with that. But I'm just saying these are some of the consequences you pay for something.
Phoenix has to fill a 14-man roster, and they only had like 4 guys or 5 guys under contract entering free agency. Miami had at least 10. So, yeah, of course they're going to sign guys. Like, I don't really buy all that. I mean, for Miami, it has to do more with their tax bill. And it was up to Mickey Harrison if he wanted to spend the extra couple $1 million to make it work. They didn't. So, if anything, this is more on Mickey just having a certain limit on how much he's willing to spend into the luxury tax. I don't know what the projections are for potentially next season if they would be a second apron team with Gabe under that contract. But if, say, you kept Lowry and Oladipo as expirings this year and they obviously are off the books next year, you know, going down from a $29 million, you know, starting salary for Lowry down to 10.3, which probably end up going about 10.8 next year. Like, that's pretty good for a starting level point guard.
Yep.
I think that's even a contract you could easily traded a year from now if they needed to as well to another team. So like they lost an asset, in my opinion.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
that's a guy
more.
That's a guy who can, you know, he's a piece that you'd cobble together for salary for someone bigger. And you're right about Lowry. And the thing is, Brian, is that when Kyle's deal expires, you know, obviously that $30 million is relief, but that expires, and this was done on purpose, when Jimmy's Supermax or almost Supermax kicks in.
It kicks in already this year.
It kicks in this year?
Yeah, he's making.
so they're
$10
really
million
not going to
this
have.
year than last year.
So Lowry off your books doesn't create cap relief. Because it's a.
And doesn't cat does I mean you're talking about cat space? No, I'm talking about
that's
like
what I mean. Yeah.
some cap relief in terms of the luxury tax.
And again, the CBA has
apron.
The CBA has changed. Yeah. So when they signed those deals, it was a different collective bargaining agreement. So, and I think we'll end on that note. I guess we'll bring you if there is any Max news, we will bring you coverage throughout the weekend. We'll all be on call, or at least I will, and we'll see who we can get out here to talk about Max Strus or whatever else Miami does. But it would appear that Gabe Vincent's off the board to the Lakers, and not much more. I'll chat saying that. Gee, you're just saying how Gabe saved Mickey. I'm not shilling for the organization. I want to make that clear. Everybody's I feel like y'all misunderstanding what I'm saying. When I
will say
stuff,
one thing. Let me put this out there as one thing. While Gabe signed it, it's not official until the moratorium on July 9. If Miami has a change of heart and wants to offer him a little bit more money, I'm just saying.
do we need a DeAndre Jordan situation?
Maybe we need to go to California,
Bring him back, man.
Get the guys back together, get Jimmy back from Brazil, and pitch him one more time with Mickey Arison held at gunpoint. Get that checkbook open.
It's rough. But before we all say our goodbyes, I do want to clarify. I'm not shilling for the front office. When I explain stuff, I explain as if what is their thinking behind it. Whether I don't, like I said, I think they should have kept Gabe and paid the tax and all that. So I'm not shilling for the organization. I think I've been pretty clear on that. But
he's gone. I mean, I'm just trying to give us a little bit of hope. He's probably gone.
I'm just addressing chat that's saying
he gone.
Nasty agenda is quite the thing to throw at me when I.
And there's no sign and trade to be made with the Lakers.
He's gone.
They don't have any contracts outside of LeBron, like one or two like rookies that they just got and Anthony Davis. So yeah, they don't. It would have to be a double sign trade. Miami can't make that work because they're over first apron. So that's there's no like asset they're giving back in the Gabe deal with the Lakers.
I'm gonna go around everybody. Brian, I'll go to Brian last. I'll go to Lou, Tiff, Franky, then Brian. Any final thoughts on day one of free agency?
Real quick, Gabe's contract is all guaranteed, no options, according to Jake Fisher.
There you have it,
Coach Lou. Final thoughts on day one.
So
I guess hour two.
So I had tweeted earlier. I thought I thought his contract should have been around 3 for $40. That's kind of where I would have been like the most comfortable. 3 for 42 is kind of where like I would have been drawing the line at. So the fact that they offered him 18 million less, which was and the Lakers were right in the middle. I don't see why they didn't make this acquisition. But I'm just gonna plug in, the summer league, guys. You got to watch July 3rd because this team is gonna have a lot of those players on it. I'll just leave it at that.
Tiff,
we might be on playback.
I mean, I think it went about how I thought it was gonna go. We weren't making any moves. Other people did. I'm surprised. I'm surprised Caleb went to the Lakers. That's surprising.
Gabe.
Not that he's. Gabe. Not that he's gone, because we knew it was a chance.
Tiff,
I know.
Tiff,
yeah.
My heart dropped.
I meant Gabe. I meant Gabe. Like, we knew there was a big chance of him being gone, but the Lakers, that was. I felt blindsided by that.
I was ready for Raptors beat.
Me too.
I'm not doing Lakers beat.
I'm not doing Lakers beat either.
Franky?
I'm doing Pacers beat. No, I'm just kidding. I was surprised Gabe went this early, especially with the Fred deal still haven't been announced. But I think, I wasn't expecting too much. There's just a couple names off the board. I was hoping we're still going to be available for the minimum. Still really worried about the Heat off season, but I hope they are active with the trades. It's not just for hoping for Dame.
Mr. Brian Goins.
I mean, as you guys know, Miami's taxable situation is the highest that they've had in franchise history since Mickey Arison's been the owner. He's going to spend more than he probably would like to. There's a limit. It seems like the limit is anything below the second apron. I don't know what they're going to be able to do in terms of other trades beyond this Dame Lillard pipe dream right now, which it may happen, but it seems like whatever trade they're going to make, they're going to receive a player making less, not making more, unless it's Dame. So I don't know. Like, until we see exactly what happens the rest of this offseason, I'll save my thoughts. But right now, they're looking at potentially replacing 2 to 3 starters from their finals run. You know, you ask any NBA team that makes a finals run, you know, trying to replace 3 starters, that's not easy. Sure, Tyler would replace one of them, so maybe replacing 2 starters. But even beyond that, like, you only have a vet minimum that you can use to spend. What guys on a vet minimum are really going to be like replacement level starters that you would want to rely on a night-to-night basis? So they have their work cut out for them.
Brian,
you know, I'll give them time to make these moves. It's just day one. It's not even July 1st still. It's this pre-free agency in a way because it's just commitments and stuff. But it is really sad to see that they couldn't bring back probably one of these 2 free agents that I thought they would be able to bring back one of either Gabe or Max, and most likely was going to be Gabe. To the fact that they can't even bring back either of them, most likely, it's a hard pill to swallow. I mean, kudos to those guys for making, you know, a lot more money than they entered the league with. I just hope Miami has, you know, a plan B once this Dame deal potential doesn't materialize.
Brian, real quick, you said potentially 2 to 3 starters. I think you're forgetting modest asset. He's going to be at the 4.
And with that, fam, audience, beloved community here, that's our show. We'll stay tuned. If something happens, if something big happens, you know, we'll either record a snippet and post to YouTube, maybe go live if it's big. If it's a Dame trade, obviously, you know, you'll catch us live. Don't worry. But for the rest of, you know, we'll should be back, you know, maybe Sunday or Monday, depending on kind of how the news cycle goes. And follow us on Twitter at MIHeapy for all updates. We got you as stuff happens. We will be live and we will be down to Brian will be here to break down and explain so that you can understand. Chat's sad. Just Jared says this sucks, donkey dick. Soap141 says this sucks, man. I saw somebody else say this is like when we lost Dwayne. I would slow down a little bit on that. I love Gabe Vincent as much as the next guy. Tiff looked up. She's like, I love these guys, but like, no, like, I mean, that was my first son. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
That's the oldest.
That's
the
My
favorite.
eldest.
I mean, yeah,
That's
I
my
love
eldest.
you. I love you, but not as much as I love, you know, all that. So
Be correct. I said almost.
love you guys. Remember to donate to Pride if you are available. We are taking donations up until the end of July. ! Pride in our Twitch chat, and the link is on our Twitter account. We'll see you later. Sorry, Bond. I was literally posting the pod. We're so back, baby. We're so back. Gabe who? Sorry, Siobhan. Rook 2's home. Bring justice home, Pat.
Dribble. Miami Heat's on fire. Let's go.
Oh my
Yo,
god.
let's get the game.
Let's bring back D Wade.
Back.
All of the vibes.
Whoa, what's going on?
Player
what's going
option
on?
at the minimum for
One
Josh.
second. Okay. All right.
What's Lou doing?
So he's not going to wear 0 because he said he's reserving that for Dame. They spoke to me.
We have breaking news. We have breaking news.
We're back, baby.
Wait, G, wait, G, do you have the breaking news sound? Can we pull that up?
I don't.
Dun-dun-dun.
This is the only sound I only have this.
Send me what a Denver Nuggets basketball player is. And
That doesn't work.
Everyone knows what that is.
That's all I have.
Compared to what a Miami Heat basketball player is, when everyone knows what that definition is.
That's the only sounder I have. But JRICH returning to the Heat via Shams Charania. Brian, do we have a figure? He's on a 2-year deal. Joselito is back.
Barry Jackson said 2-year deal with the Heat as a player option at minimum per source. Bo called him tonight with a pitch, according to a team source.
Let's fucking go.
We move. Pat woke up from his fucking siesta.
We're
That
back,
was
baby.
That was Spo.
That's
That
a
was
Spo.
Spo.
No,
That's
Spo-
Spo, that's-
Pat's
that's
still
Spo.
sleeping.
Yeah,
Spo
Pat's still
was like,
sleeping.
let me.
Spo
Let's
did
get him
Pat's
the
dirty
phone.
work for him.
We
Yeah,
need Justice back.
Spo's like, we need a point of attack defender now that Gabe Vincent's gone. There's this guy that we used to have that we traded for a guy named Jimmy Butler not too long ago. He's a free agent finally after we gave him his extension. And they brought him back at a minimum.
Yep,
Dude, I thought he was going to go back to the Pelicans. They had his bird rights.
man, fuck.
They
that.
could went over.
They gave up 5 seconds for him.
And yeah, and damn, that's insane that he signed for the minimum. He didn't even get a partial mid-level. Miami didn't have a mid-level that can offer him anyway. But the
from
fact that
somebody
he came back at the minimum, it's a 1-year deal. So that's that second year, that's a player option. Like he's gonna
traded
turn
that
that down.
Jimmy Butler, and they got him back discounted.
Chef Trilly said Dibs wanted JRICH and Bam for Jimmy. We got all 3.
We got all of them. We got everyone.
Now we just
I'm
need
so
KO.
happy.
We need KO back.
I'm
Derrick
fucking-
Jones
I'm
Jr.
so fucking happy, dude.
Let's go.
And
We
Winslow.
were so sad, like
Guys.
not that long ago. We're so back, baby.
Man, after we ended the live stream, we just sat there and soaked for the entire time, guys, until
And then all
this
of a
news.
sudden,
Understandably, man.
Of course. And
Legit.
Oh my god.
Love this move.
everybody
Legitimately
knows how
love
much I love Gabe Vincent, and I still wish we had him. But at this price, I would rather have Josh Richardson.
Absolutely.
I saw
There's no
someone-
denying that.
And over Max too.
And
'Cause
over
you-
Max too. Yes.
You know, credit to
This
them.
was
I'm
the-
gonna miss them. But you're
Yeah.
getting Josh at the minimum, and Josh
Yep.
shot 36% last year from 3. Like I'm pretty sure he shot higher from 3 than both of them.
And look up his
36%.
playoffs. 'Cause he shot a little bit better, I think, in the playoffs for the Pelicans.
Okay, Kevin Love's back. We got K Love back.
He is?
go.
Kevin Love's back.
Where'd you see that?
Where are you?
Fat Man with the AP.
Grimace?
Just tweeted out Kevin Love returns to the Heat.
Tim Reynolds? I need to put his notifications on.
Do
I'm
you?
drinking
No.
Grimace shake. Let's go.
I'm not turning his notification.
Well, I
I'm
might
not
need
turning
to. If he's getting some of these minimum salaries, I might have to put him off for at least a day.
All right, baby.
Just one
We're-
day.
Listen, we're so back.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Where's the Justice news?
I need the justice.
Where's the Justice
I'll
news?
turn off his retweets at least.
Justice better now. Better now.
I was looking up how many years has Josh played in the NBA because I want to
So
tweet
Josh
out
has a one.
what he's gonna make.
Josh has a 1 year with a
Since
player
2015.
option.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how many years
Okay.
has he played in the NBA. Because
8 years.
when we say he's making the vet minimum, they're gonna say it's $2 million in terms of like the cap book impact for Miami and luxury tax impact. But
8 years.
the Miami Heat actually get reimbursed some money, the difference between what he actually will be making minus what a 2-year years of experience NBA player makes. It basically the NBA does this so that teams like the Heat, if they want to go out and get a veteran minimum contract that counts only $2 million on their cap books, they don't have to go and find a player that's only played 2 years in the NBA. They can get any guy that's a veteran that's played up until 10 or plus years. It still counts the same as a 2-year minimum, a 2-year veteran making a minimum. So you saying
He's played 8 years. This is his 9th season,
Hey man.
which is crazy.
yeah. So
Hey man. I'm
8
happy.
years
We're
he'll be making 2.8 this season.
not
Even
gonna
though
lie,
it's,
bro.
it's counting $2 million for the Heat, he's going to be making about 2.9.
I'm so fucking happy.
I'm beaming, bro. That he's one of my favorite players. I love him. I love Rook. What a great guy to cover. A pleasure.
Our
What-
interview
Lou?
with him was great
Lou?
at Media
Lou?
Day.
Nah,
Lou, what you got?
it's just to amplify what you're gonna say. Barry said per Heat source, Richardson had a larger offer with another team, but opted for the Heat reunion after talking with Spo tonight.
Look at
Culture is
fucking-
so back. Culture's back
hey,
on the menu.
Hey, I think this is the time for me to say I've always stated if the Heat win a championship, Pat retires, Spo takes his spot, and then we'll have Chris Quinn and Caron Butler a fist fight for the head coaching position.
It's definitely not.
Kevin-
Chris Quinn. Don't put that evil on me, fucking Ricky Bobby. God damn it.
Kevin Love is
I can't
also on a
even-
2-year deal with a player option on the second year.
The minimum or
Joselito.
For the minimum. Actually, that's a good question. I don't know if it's a minimum because it could
I hope
also
it's
be
a minimum deal.
It could be non-bird rights. The difference. Well, I was gonna say the difference between his non-bird rights and his minimum is about like 500,000. So it's not much.
We have Alex Musiby. Alex, how are you feeling? Moose, we have Joselito
Listen,
back in the
I
city.
am outside La Carreta. People are freaking out right now. Everybody in unison got the news at once. They were like, oye, ¿oíste algo? Rook 2 está aquí otra vez. Coño, tremendo contrato para 2 años. And we are back. Gotta hit them one time for the Rook 2.
I can't wait for him to play with Tyler.
Yo, what is Jordan Mickey doing right now? Let's get him.
Jordan Mickey's actually, not even lie, Jordan Mickey's actually a cap hold on the Heat's books.
I saw that the other day. I saw that the other day on Spotrack. That was so funny.
Listen, we're
Dwayne
totally
is still there too.
maybe
it's because they're so cheap and they gotta keep them on there in case they ever the reason why I just want to put this out there. If they ever decide to be free agent players in the future, Dwayne Wade's cap hold would be used to get whatever that free agent is, because it's good to have low cap holds and especially when these guys retire or are not in the league, you don't have to rescind them because they're never coming back.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Rook 2 is back.
They use his cap hold for a Dean Wade.
Moose, how you feeling? I want to get some of Moose's thoughts. So they lose out on Gabe, to the Lakers, a big evil organization. It looks like Max is probably going to be a Cleveland Cavalier, with the Heat getting, quote, a modest asset in return via Barry Jackson.
Asset or two,
excuse me. Moose, how you feeling? They bring Rook 2 back. They bring Kevin Love back. How we feeling, 3 hours and a half into this free agency period?
I'm not going to lie. I was hurting there for a while. The Gabe news hit me hard. Once it was official and it set in, and I saw the photoshops of him in the yellow and gold, or the yellow and purple, or the gold and purple. I don't even know what fucking colors they use over there.
Gross and
purple and orange skies.
It hurt. It hurt. I'm incredibly happy for Gabe. He earned every single dollar. I'm glad that he's playing meaningful games. So I'm sitting here wallowing, and then I get the notification, Rook 2. Bam! Kevin Love. Bam! And then I'm thinking, because I know how Pat Riley works, we're going to get Rook 1 with Dame, and then we are back. We got our point guard. We got our wing. We're going to bring Goji off the bench for another veteran. I'm just expecting a championship at this point. I'm feeling good.
Hey, man.
Moose, I hate to clarify this because I know I'm like all about the numbers and stuff, but Winslow's a free agent. They don't need to go and trade for him. They can just sign him right now.
We can bring him for the minimum, Moose.
Boom.
What number does modest
Even
asset
better.
wear?
Let's bring him back. Although people on Twitter are saying Hassan, and I draw the line there.
No, absolutely not.
Isn't he balling right now for like Puerto Rico?
Let Hassan hang out in Puerto Rico.
Balling is a way to put
They
it.
deported his ass.
I thought he was averaging like 20 and 10 right now.
Yeah, so was DeMarcus Cousins.
Quick
Pat
question.
Riley and Spoelstra said, Hassan, not in my country. Get out of here.
Quick question for the group. What are we expecting to get back for Max? Is it just picks?
I would
second
expect
round
the $8 million trade exception and maybe 1 or 2 second-round picks.
Okay. Portland would love that.
Well,
That's
Portland showed
exactly
some
what I
interest
said.
in Max, although it just seems like with the reporting that I've done and just kind of the vibe on the timeline, it just kind of seems like he's going to be a Cleveland Cavalier.
Yeah.
And they need a third team to take the salary of either Dean Wade, Rubio, or Cedi Osman or whoever.
Yeah, it's going to be Cedi Osman, one of these minimum guys, which I think is going to be, what was his name? I already
Yeah,
got
you
his name.
had said something.
Sam Merrill.
Yeah, him. They'll guarantee a portion of his salary to make the number work, and then the Spurs can decide if they want to keep him or cut him. But I think both these guys would be shipped out to the Spurs. The Heat would get back the difference in those salaries, half whatever Max gets. So I think if Max gets $16 million, the Heat get half because of base recompensation, which would be an $8 million trade exception. And then whatever picks that they get back from the Pacers and actually, don't the Pacers have like two or three of their second round picks from that KZ Okpala trade still?
I think so.
So there you go.
Okay, all right. Listen, all I'm seeing is just a clearer pathway to Dame, and an even clearer pathway to the finals and hoisting that trophy. So I'm feeling good. I feel like Josh Richardson was the first move.
That's the domino.
Yeah, the domino of really setting up like what.
El domino.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you remember when Josh Richardson had like highlight videos being tweeted out by the Heat and Cooper Moorhead was like campaigning for Defensive Player of the Year here?
Listen, JRICH and Spo It's a marriage. The we're almost back to you know what I mean? Like the group's almost together.
We gotta get that.
Bam just tweeted.
Boost is absolutely right.
Josh.
I want to talk about this real quick. There's a question from chat saying, Brian, can we add the trade exception from Dedmon and Max Strus together? So Dedmon has 4.7. Max potentially could be an $8 million trade exception. Could you combine them to get a player making what? 8 plus 4, 12.7, like 15 million? No, you can't. You have to use one you have to basically use them individual transactions or for a specific player or a couple of players making up to that number of that trade exception. So, and you can also use it to claim a player off waivers. I think Miami should use that 4.7 million to claim the guy that the Portland Trailblazers waived earlier today, Watford. They can, but whether or not other teams claim him before it gets to Miami's turn in the priority waivers, well, who knows? But
he's less than a minimum, correct?
He's actually like a couple $100,000 less than the $2.19 million.
That's music to Mickey Harrison's ears.
2.019 vet minimum right now. So in a way, it does help Miami's tax bill a bit.
Bam is tweeting gifs of him and JRICH together. He's happy. Bam's getting his friends back. I'm happy. I'm beaming. My night's made, bro. We got Joselito back.
Let me tell you, you think the fans are happy? Bam needed this right now because he just watched Gabe walk out the door, who was his best friend on the team. So this is a quick pick-me-up right after that to bring in another buddy of his, somebody that he could like really have on his side throughout the remainder of the season, just on a personal level.
They were very close, Moose. I mean, you remember they were him, Justice, and JRICH were unusually close, and they even talked about how their friendship. They kept their friendship even when on separate teams, that they kept in communication a lot.
Absolutely. They motivated each other on and off the court. And you saw, you just mentioned it, that relationship extended even when JRICH and Winslow went on to other teams. That's something that, you see that in the NBA, but it's really, really rare when it's three young guys on one squad, each trying to make a name for each other, but they were doing it together. Again, testament to Heat culture. That really only happens in a place like this.
I have breaking news. Nekias Duncan has been giving grades to every signing. He just gave this a B+.
Oh,
too low.
I'll take B. Listen.
Okay, I got some contract details on Kevin Love's new contract.
Oh, we love.
According to Anthony Chang of the Miami Herald, Kevin Love's contracts includes a starting salary of $3.7 million. That means he signed for the non-bird rights. So it's more than the vet minimum. And it's a 2-year player option. So just putting that out there.
So it'd be perfect if we get Trent Watford and save some of that money.
This actually makes Miami's luxury tax bill go up just a bit more.
Yeah.
Don't tell Mickey. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I pulled the fast one on him. He's like, maybe Mickey won't notice.
He's like, I don't love.
3.7 million for Kevin Love.
Adjustment to the facts.
I like it. And Miami was only able to offer that because they gave him a lot more last season when he was
the biennial.
Buyout. Yeah, they used the biannual. So in a way, using that biannual last year, along with the non-bird rights, they gave him 120% increase from his salary from last season.
Josh just tweeted fingers crossed emoji. I don't
know
what that means.
Does that mean justice?
I think that means justice and DJJ. We back.
Full circle.
At Mario on Twitter @sucks tweets Jimmy catches, puts up a 3, won't go, rebound, bam, back out to Richardson, foot on the line, Denver ball.
Almost sold an Xbox to Josh Richardson.
That's right, I remember that.
He followed me for like 5 or 10 minutes, and I was about to send it to him. It was the newest Xbox that came out 2 years ago during COVID.
That only happens to a second-round pick, by the way. They would not be buying a first-round pick. Would not be buying an Xbox from
off
Brian
Twitter.
Goins.
Yeah, off Brian Goins off Twitter.
I was gonna sell it to him for the normal rate too, because I was
just because you're a fan.
I was trying to make a little bit of money during COVID.
So
you don't want to go with discount.
I was like, if I can get a follow from him, fuck yeah, I'll sell it to you for retail.
Brian's like, I'll
MSRP.
I'll have the discount. So we got that Jazz tweeted out. I know they love to run it back, but they're really running it back with that one. And then I go running it back to 2016. Where's Dwayne at? And somebody then goes, "Oh, you're definitely getting a D Wade." Dean Wade confirmed to the Heat.
We know what number he can't wear.
Let's talk about this. Obviously, like we're happy, right? Like I think. Take care, Moose.
Later, guys.
Right,
We back, Moose.
We back, baby. Lou's gonna come back. Lou just had to take a phone call real quick. So we're back, baby. You know, we're all the way back. We're happy. Let's talk about a little bit. You know, we'll get off. We'll let Lou come back. We'll get his takes on the actual signing, but we'll just talk basketball for a second. I like this for Miami because you get a little bit of defensive help, and I know that I thought in the regular season their defense started to wane a bit, and I think you kind of saw some of their limitations. Josh doesn't make them bigger, but he makes them bigger in the backcourt. And maybe not bigger up front, but bigger in the back. And I think that matters a bit. Gabe was a smaller guard, although he was tough.
Kyle makes him bigger in the back no matter what. Okay.
No modest assets there. But I do think that having a little bit of size, especially with Caleb, the way that they'll be able to hound guards, they'll be able to.
Oh, my God. Gee, can you imagine the 2-2-1 with those two at the top?
I know exactly. And that's what I'm thinking about. Like now you can, you know, he's a guy that's going to flourish and kind of expose new defensive scheme. I also think he has very good hands. He was always a very good steals guy. And I think the way that Miami helps now compared to how they used to, Miami was a bit of a more conservative defense back when he played with them because they had Whiteside. Yeah. Now they're more of a swarm team. And I actually think Jimmy, Caleb, Bam are going to make for some very fun defensive units.
I'm excited, man. Yeah, no, absolutely. They didn't even play that much zone when he was here as much as they do now, and he's versatile. He was a decent rim protector too on the weak side help, just coming over, making the rotations and using his athleticism to be active there. I'm excited. You know, like you mentioned the size. Yeah, you know, he's not as strong as Max, but he's versatile. He can guard 1 through 3. Miami used him as the 3 a lot. He's a decent rebounder, positive assist to turnover ratio. He does make some dumb decisions, but like you got him at the minimum. He shot higher from 3 than Max and Gabe did this season. Like, and you got him for the minimum. Like even for a 1-year deal, like this is a no doubt about it. Great minimum signing. Like I didn't even consider him because I didn't think it was possible he was coming for the minimum.
Imagine if they got Eubanks. You know what I mean?
So I Jock Landale, man, I want him.
So if you're the Heat, so guys, if you're the Heat, now you have a guy to come off your bench to play some guard, right? I think you're probably starting. Well, now you brought back Kevin Love, so I think we can pencil in the starters right now as Jimmy, Bam, Kevin Love, and Kyle Lowry. And Tyler Hero.
We got a couple news here just to break it real quick. Rui Hachimura, 3 years, $51 million to return to the Lakers, and Cam Reddish, multi-year deal to join the Lakers.
Wow, that's a good signing for the Lakers.
Cam Reddish is nice.
Yeah, Cam Reddish is a nice.
I wanted him.
By the way, Brady Hawk said Josh Richardson shot 37% on spot ups and 46% on mid-range pull-ups this past season. We just talked about that they lost that element from Gabe Vincent. I mean, obviously 46%. It's not as good as the 50% they gave shot, but the 46% on mid-range is very, very good.
Yeah.
What's Rodney Magruder doing right now?
No.
Can we bring him back?
What's the scavenger? No, that's Spo's going to be a sicko and put him on Jokic.
Tyler Johnson out there still?
The final form of Spo putting poor Rodney Magruder on Kawhi was having like Jimmy and Kyle switch onto Jokic.
I'm looking at some of our old tweets, just searching Josh Richardson at the Miami Heat beat account. Like, yeah, we were high on him.
Oh, dude, we were at JRICH lifers, and JRICH was also like really nice to us when we covered him.
He's awesome.
That interview he did with us at Media Day, we had to release that again.
4 years to the day, 6/30 in 2019, Jimmy was traded for Josh Richardson.
And we got him back the same day?
4 years to the day.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Is that did somebody tweet that, or did you just come up with yourself?
No, I wish I could claim that. Tom Haberstroh.
Of course, you
just
tweeted
that. That's insane, man. 4 years to the day. Joselito, Rook 2. Do we still call him Rook 2? I think we still call him.
Absolutely.
Do you call him Rook 2 still?
Yeah.
Do we call him Rook 2? I don't know. What's the
Rook 2 forever?
We gotta give him a better nickname.
It's
Like
J
we've come
Rich.
up with the mechanic and the locksmith. We got to come up with something like that for him.
I
We
mean,
call him Heat Lifer. That's what we call
The
him.
point of attack.
the
He's the linesman. They call on B-ball reference has him as.
I was at that game, man.
name
At the match.
Neymar.
I'm happy, bro.
I'm so happy.
This was I couldn't have wanted anything more. Ravi Ray asked any thoughts on going after Christian Wood. I don't really like Christian Wood.
Michael Scotto from Hoops Hype said that JRICH was getting interest from Minnesota and Boston.
Oh wow, they were going to reunite.
Boston had him last year, I think.
Yeah,
Or
they
the year
traded
before.
for White.
Yeah, they traded for Derek Rose 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, he said that Pat and Spo called JRICH to recruit him to Miami.
I'm sure that started with a text from Bam.
He dropped the eyes emoji. He thinks so.
It's like, oh, I think he might be interested. You might guys want to give him a call. Offer him a contract right now.
Oh, man.
Probably got him drunk.
I as I know that team in 2016 wasn't the best team in the world, but they produced a lot of funny content. Like now I'm reliving all the JRICH, Justin, Bam, Hassan, D Wade stuff. They had fun, man. That was a fun group. I miss them.
Those lineups were so positive. The three, Wayne and Kelly. Those were
Man,
like overwhelming.
we're going. That's the
lineups.
way back.
Like no, it was great. Like Bam's first 2 years when it was consistently their best lineup was that group.
Yeah, let's take a little quick trip down memory lane here.
2, what's your nickname? It's Stendo. Hey, son, what's your nickname?
Block everything. I hope he knows how to
Is Dwayne back?
Are we getting Dwayne back? Yo,
I want Dwayne back, man.
Yo, is Dwayne coming back? Are we doing this?
You saw that
Can he play the UD role?
If Dwayne comes back, I don't care if they like don't win another playoff series like the rest of the Jimmy build. Bring Dwayne back. I don't care, man.
I care.
Brad's like, I care. Bring Dwayne back. That man, I can't. Oh man, no UD JRICH reunion. Oh wow, Fred VanVleet has agreed to a 3-year, $130 million contract with the Houston Rockets.
Wow, that's insane.
And the Raptors miss out on their man, Gabe Vincent.
Wow, no backup for them.
No backup plan.
Kyle?
Ooh. Can I interest you in Kyle? No. Keep
Not
my
one
man
for
here.
them.
Kyle for OG?
That actually, I'm not gonna lie. If they go the route of clearing cap space, would you do Kyle and 3 picks for OG Anunoby?
Yeah. Yeah,
so.
I would do that.
I think so.
If they miss on Dame, yeah, I would do that.
Would you do Tyler and 3 picks?
Probably not.
What about
So
Tyler and
rich.
2 picks?
Yeah.
Tyler and 2?
Yeah, I think that's good.
And you have the Tyler replacement in JRICH. I think
you're
got
shooting. Like you need a point guard who could fucking shoot.
all eyes on Toronto right now to see what they do now, because now there might be a teardown.
Yeah, they just re-signed Pirtle today, and losing Fred was. I don't know who they could sign it as a point guard. Who's their other option? Harden, and as a trade, that's like their best option. Like that's
What
not
if
gonna
the
happen.
What if the Heat swing Lillard, have JRICH? How back are we?
You know what's crazy is that JRICH makes, if they have to include Caleb in that trade, it makes it a little easier to swallow.
It really does. That's so right.
It's very similar players. Caleb's a little bit better with the ball, but you're shooting wise, defensively, like they're very similar.
Why not both?
Exactly.
People are saying to bring McBob's back. They're saying to bring McBob's back. Lou, so we talked a little bit about how we feel about just the basketball fit of JRICH, and we talked about kind of some of the defensive units, how they swarm a little more, and how good JRICH's hands were. We're kind of excited. Like at first, we were like happy from like we were just classic millennials. We just love reboots. But but we started thinking about the basketball aspect. We're like, wait a second, we might be onto something.
No, yeah, his
Defense.
versatility between guarding ball handlers and twos and even some threes, his shot blocking prowess, his length on defense, Jimmy, and I mean he was probably our best defender for a couple of those years before Bam really got established. For sure, he was our best perimeter defender.
I was saying before earlier that they were doing campaigns for Defensive Player of the Year awards for him.
No, he was truly phenomenal.
That's how good he was.
And this is an underrated aspect. I know we were talking about defense. Offensively, he was hitting pull-up mid-rangers.
46%. So so I got a text from Rohan Natkarni of Sports Illustrated said, Josh had more points, rebounds, assists, and shot better than Gabe Vincent from 3 last season. And he's bigger.
Yeah. He can pick
Oh,
up
baby, we're so back.
And that relationship with Bam, man, and if they can bring back any of the other guys from that 2016 team, like that'd be good vibes in the locker room. We'll put it at that. It'll help you convince Bam to stay and get that extension possibly next season. Because I think that's important for Miami. Like, you want to still make him happy.
They're going to create so much havoc defensively, man.
Oh, my God. That's swarming.
It's going to be – it's not just – because, like you said, he's bigger than Gabe.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's
more athletic than both of them.
He's more athletic as well. So and his shot blocking, at least when he was here, he was a very good chase down shot blocker. Mm-hmm. And, little things like that, like just length on defense, versatility on defense, as well as him being able to shoot. And he's been a better percentage shooter than Gabe. Obviously, Gabe has proved that he's done it in the playoffs as opposed to Josh Richardson, at least deeper in the playoffs as opposed to Josh Richardson. Mm-hmm. Not to saying that he can't do it. It's just, I guess it's like a knock. But no, man, vibes are high. You got him for a minimum. He turned down more money. Thank you, Spoelstra. Thank you, Bam Adebayo.
Vibes are high. The feelings are good. And I think that there's nothing we can complain about right now. I think that they lost Gabe, obviously, but I think the JRICH signing's a good bounce back. They retained Kevin Love. I don't know if you heard that, Lou, when you stepped away for a second.
Yes.
That's big time for them because he was a starter. And hopefully they can find a couple more guys on the minimum market to fill out the rest of their team, including with their two-way guys and all that. Remember, we have Jaime as well looking forward. So we're not going to keep you guys too long. We just came back for a second to talk about the JRICH signing. We did go off air and we did go 2 hours. We gave you a bonus half hour. Again, if something else happens, we'll go live. We'll see. But, hope everybody can enjoy their Friday night. I want to thank my co-hosts here. And we'll talk to you guys soon, okay?
Game next.
Game next.